Chapter 365. Know all kinds of people. Why would I need anything? Lin Yi's identity was special, but Uncle Tian was his elder, an old friend of his Shifu. Lin Yi wouldn't put on airs. Uncle Tian, I need your help with something. Just say it. Uncle Tian was a little angry. Your boss's disciple. Your words are the same as boss's. It's like this. I'm going to his second grandpa's birthday party with my classmate, but we don't have any rooms left. Do you have a place to stay? Lin Yi asked. That's it. Uncle Tian froze. It was too simple. Are you going to Kang Lightsai's birthday party? His surname is Kang, Dr. Kang, but I'm not sure if it's this Kang Lightsai. Lin Yi felt a chill when he heard Dr. Kang's name. As expected of a moneymaker. That's him then. Uncle Tian smiled. The entire resort has been booked by the Kang family, but I have a private villa that's not open to the public. You can just come over. All right, I'll head over now. I'll call you when I get there. Lin Yi reminded him. I'm a student now. I understand. Uncle Tian smiled. He wouldn't ask too much about Lin Yi's identity and what he was going to do. Lin Yi hung up and returned to the car. He said to Kang Xiaobo, "It's done. Let's go." Where? Kang Xiaobo was surprised. To the Moon on the Sea resort. Lin Yi said as he started the car. There's no room in the resort. Boss, you found someone? Kang Xiaobo was excited. We can stay at the Moon on the Sea resort too? Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. The owner of the hotel is an elder of mine. Damn, boss, you're amazing. Kang Xiaobo was full of admiration. His eyes were blazing with passion. He could finally hold his head high and let off some steam. Didn't her second uncle not allow her to stay here? And he stayed there. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have a room. I don't need to prepare a room for him. I have a room to stay in. Seeing how excited Kang Xiaobo was, Tang Yun looked at Lin Yi curiously. This guy seemed to be able to solve any trouble easily. Did he know the owner of Donghai Ocean Moon Hotel? He knew quite a few people. Oh. Well, don't be angry. Not only do we have a room to live in, but we also live in a villa. Lin Yi smiled and comforted Kang Xiaobo. Villa? It can't be. Kang Xiaobo's eyes widened. I heard that Bright Moon over the sea has a total of 30 independent villas. Only 20 of them are open to the public, and 10 of them are for private use. That's right, boss, you know their boss. Naturally, you have a villa for private use. Although Lin Yi didn't know where Bright Moon over the Sea Hotel was, he removed the GPS from Yushu's Beetle and installed it in his car before he left. It was a very famous hotel. Lin Yi searched for it on the GPS and found a clear route to the hotel. Kang Xiaobo's second uncle, Kang Mingming's father, was standing at the entrance of Bright Moon over the Sea resort with Kang Mingming, welcoming the guests. As for Kang Xiaobo's uncle, he was the CEO of Dr. Kang's medical group. His position was much more important than Kang Xiaobo's second uncle. He was currently in the hotel with a few important guests. Boss, that's my second uncle. The one beside him is Kang Mingming. Kang Xiaobo pointed at the person not far away and introduced him to Lin Yi. Xiaobo. Xiao Fen faintly saw the figure of that person and closed her eyes in fear. This was the person that she had yearned for day and night, but at this moment, Xiao Fen couldn't tell what kind of feelings she had for this person. Longing, hate, or fear. Kang Xiaobo grabbed Fen's hand tightly and comforted her. It's okay. It's okay, boss and I are here. No one will bully you. I'm still a little scared. Fen was a little nervous as she held onto Kang Xiaobo's hand tightly, not daring to let go. It's okay. If you're not ready, just lie down and close your eyes. It'll be fine. Kang Xiaobo comforted. Okay. Fen nodded and followed Kang Xiaobo's instructions, closing her eyes and lying down. Beep beep. Lin Yi pressed the horn twice in front of the railing of the resort's driveway. Kang Mingming took a glance at Lin Yi's car and walked over impatiently. He complained to the security guard beside him, "Can't your hotel's delivery car go through the back door? How many times have I told you? If you go through the front door, wouldn't it affect the guest's mood?" Yes, second young Master Kang. The security guard apologized carefully, but when he looked at the license plate of Lin Yi's van, He was a little puzzled. I don't know this car. Is he a delivery car for the hotel? Delivery car, go through the back door. Kang Ming ran over impatiently and shouted at Lin Yi while waving his hand. I'm not a delivery car, I'm here to stay. Lin Yi was a little speechless. This was the second time he was mistaken as a delivery car. Stay. This place has been booked by my family. There are no more rooms. You should go somewhere else. After Kang Ming finished, he ignored Lin Yi and walked back. Why would a stranger waste his breath on him? Kang Ming didn't have the time for that. Kang Xiaobo frowned, but he opened the car door and got out. Zhao Ming, it's me and my classmates. We're here to celebrate second grandpa's birthday. Oh! Kang Ming saw Kang Xiaobo get out of the car, and he was obviously stunned. Didn't he ask his father to tell Kang Xiaobo not to come and stay outside? Kang Ming didn't have a good impression of Kang Xiaobo. At his grandpa's birthday party, Kang Xiaobo didn't give him any face at all. He was cold to his big brother, which made Kang Ming feel very embarrassed. Which of his relatives did not fawn over him with the utmost respect? Why are you, Kang Xiaobo, so arrogant? Although you're also a member of the Kang family, you're not from my bloodline. What's there to be arrogant about? Alright, since you're so arrogant, then just you wait. When Kang Ming heard that Kang Xiaobo invited his classmates to his grandpa's birthday party, he subconsciously thought that Kang Xiaobo wanted to show off his family's power to his classmate. His second grandpa was the famous Dr. Kang. However, since Kang Ming already had a grudge against Kang Xiaobo, how could he let him have his way? Since you want to show off, I'll make you lose face. Therefore, he purposely asked his father to tell Kang Xiaobo's father that there was no more room in the resort. He asked Kang Xiaobo to find a hotel to stay with his classmates and then reimburse him. Chapter 366. Tit for tat. Kang Ming looked at his father, who was puzzled as well. Kang Xiaobo's father had informed Kang Xiaobo's father, so why didn't he inform Kang Xiaobo? Xiaobo, didn't your dad tell you? The resort is full, and we didn't arrange a room for you and your classmate. Kang Ming feigned innocence. How about this? Why don't you and your classmate stay at the hotel next door? There's a small hotel there, it's only 30 to 40 kuai a night. I'll reimburse you tomorrow. Oh, Zhao Ming, you don't have to worry about that. We've already booked a room here. Kang Xiaobo said faintly. We don't need you to arrange it. Chem? What? Kang Ming blinked. You booked a room here? Impossible. I've booked all the rooms that are open to the public. Who are you trying to fool? Why would I lie to you? Kang Xiaobo shrugged, feeling good watching Kang Ming go crazy. Xiaobo, I know you don't want to lose face in front of your classmates, and I understand how you feel. Kang Ming's words were sincere, but he purposely raised his voice so that Lin Yi and the others could hear him. But you have to know that most of the guests for my grandpa's birthday are dignitaries. They can't even fit in the rooms, so why would there be rooms for your classmates? Plus, you're not grandpa's blood-related grandson, so there's no way they'll take care of you when arranging rooms. That's none of your concern. Kang Xiaobo wasn't angry at all. You've booked the rooms that are open to the public, but don't you have rooms that aren't open to the public as well? We've booked rooms that aren't open to the public. After that, Kang Xiaobo stopped talking to Kang Ming. He opened the railing in front of the car and got in. You! Zhao Ming was pissed off. Perhaps it was because Xiaobo knew the staff here, or maybe he'd arranged a staff restroom for them. Still, he wasn't satisfied with letting him in just like that. Forget it, illuminate. Kang Ming's father waved his hand. Although he also looked down on his nephew's family, as an elder, he couldn't do too much. What the hell is this? Do you think you're some big shot now? Kang Ming watched as Lin Yi's old car drove into the resort. He couldn't help but curse. Isn't it embarrassing to drive a lousy car? Alright, illuminate, your grandfather still cares about his face. Don't be too rude in front of outsiders. Anyway, he's a relative who doesn't interact with you all year round. If he wants to show off, then let him. He won't get any practical benefits anyway. Kang Ming's father, Kang Tsuepu, shook his head and smiled as he welcomed an Audi that was about to drive into the resort. CEO Wang, you're here too. After Lin Yi entered the resort, he contacted Uncle Tian. Because of Lin Yi's repeated refusal and instructions, Uncle Tian didn't come out to welcome him personally. Instead, he sent a confidant to welcome Lin Yi. However, even the confidant didn't know Lin Yi's true identity. Lin Yi wanted to keep a low profile. If he was so close to the resort's boss in a high-profile manner, it was inevitable that he would be noticed by the Kang family. This time, Lin Yi accompanied Kang Xiaobo as a bystander. His main goal was to let Xiaofan clearly see the ugly faces of Kang Mingming and the others and completely erase him from her memory. If Lin Yi exposed the fact that he was close to Uncle Tian, then Kang Mingming might change his attitude and purposely get close to him to flatter him. That way, Xiaofan wouldn't be able to see his true colors. Young Master Lin, hello. CEO Tian asked me to come over. A man in his 30s walked quickly to Lin Yi's car. He didn't look down on Lin Yi's old car at all. His eyes maintained a respectful expression without a trace of suspicion. I'm Li Yixuan. Young Master Lin can just call me Xiao Li. Uncle Tian must have told him the car number, so he immediately confirmed Lin Yi's identity. Hehe, Mr. Li can just bring us to the villa, Lin Yi said politely. Young Master Lin, please follow me. Li Yixuan nodded. Do you want me to get in the car, or do you want to take my car? Li Yixuan said and pointed to a business car parked not far away. Mr. Li, please get in the car. I can drive myself, Lin Yi said. Li Yixuan didn't say much. He got in the car and pointed the way to Lin Yi. It didn't take long for him to arrive in front of a villa by the seaside. This villa had the best view out of all the villas in the area. However, there was a "for personal use" sign at the door of the villa. It was obviously not open to the public. Young Master Lin, the villa is ready. You can move in now, Li Yixuan said and gave Lin Yi a name card. This is my contact number. If you need anything, young Master Lin can contact me directly. Okay, thank you. Lin Yi took the name card and kept it. Li Yixuan didn't speak much. He nodded and left. This kind of person was important because of his style of doing things. He didn't talk much and didn't ask much. Young Master Lin? Boss, are you really a young master from a rich family? Didn't you say you only have a rich relative? Kang Xiaobo heard Li Yixuan call Lin Yi young Master Lin. He looked at Lin Yi excitedly. Boss, be honest. Are you the rumored rich second generation? Do I look like it? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Your brother is, he. Hey, Xiaofan. Kang Xiaobo wanted to tease him, but when he looked down, he saw that Xiaofan's face was covered in tears. He was so scared that his heart was about to explode. Xiaofan, don't cry. What's wrong? Lin Yi and Tang Yun heard Kang Xiaobo's voice. They turned around and saw Xiaofan's tear-stained face. However, Lin Yi and Tang Yun didn't know what to say. This was expected. Xiaofan saw Kang Mingming again. Although they didn't meet face to face, just looking at him from afar was enough to shake Xiaofan's fragile heart. At this time, only Kang Xiaobo could comfort her. Lin Yi and Tang Yun didn't know what to say. Xiaobo, carry Xiaofan into the room and comfort her? Lin Yi suggested. Okay. Kang Xiaobo nodded and ran into the villa with Xiaofan in his arms. Let's go in later. Lin Yi sighed. He stopped the car in front of the villa and turned off the engine. Chapter 367. Do you dare? I hope so. Lin Yi nodded. Every family has their own problems. Kang Xiaobo's family is very complicated, and they don't have much of a family relationship. Yeah, a rich family like that can't even compare to us poor families. Tang Yun said. They don't have that much wealth, and they don't have that many problems. Right, how's your brother's situation? Lin Yi suddenly remembered about Tang Yun's cousin. I gave him the money, and he should have returned it already. He hasn't called in the past few days, and I've been busy with Dad's surgery with Mom. Tang Yun said. But don't worry, I'll definitely return the money to you. I don't mean for you to return the money. Don't think too much about it, and tell your brother not to feel too much pressure. Lin Yi said. Yeah. Tang Yun nodded and raised her head. You really don't need me to return it. No need. Lin Yi said. Why are you so nice to me? Tang Yun was a little agitated as she looked at Lin Yi without blinking. Nice. It's not that nice, is it? Lin Yi scratched his head. He couldn't take Tang Yun's direct gaze. Phut! Tang Yun laughed out loud. It was a serious topic, but Lin Yi's words turned it into a joke. Then do you dare to be nicer to me? Tang Yun wanted to ask Lin Yi if he wanted to be with her for the rest of his life, but Lin Yi's answer made it hard for her to continue asking. It was good that she didn't ask, though. It would save both of them from the awkwardness. Who knew what would happen in the future? For the first time, Tang Yun joked with Lin Yi. Of course. Lin Yi nodded. Ha ha. Tang Yun laughed happily. Remember what you said. How will you stay at night? Lin Yi suddenly thought of the problem of staying at night. Kang Xiaobo should be accompanying Xiaofen, then he and Tang Yun. Lin Yi couldn't help but get excited. Could he share a room with Tang Yun? Of course it's me and Xiao Fen living together. How could Tang Yun not know what Lin Yi was thinking? She snorted and said, don't think about those messy things. Before marriage, it's impossible, Lin Yi sweated. Did Tang Yun see through his thoughts just like that? However, Tang Yun thought that marriage was a bit too much. At least there were many couples living together before marriage. She was afraid that Lin Yi would be disappointed, so she added, at least before you bring me to see your parents, it's impossible. I'm actually an orphan. Lin Yi sighed self-deprecatingly. Ah! Tang Yun widened her eyes and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. You're an orphan? Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. I don't even know who my real parents are. I'm sorry. Tang Yun didn't think that Lin Yi was an orphan. Then her words were inappropriate. I didn't know you were an orphan. I didn't say anything just now. It's fine. I'm used to it. Lin Yi shook his head indifferently. But my family has an old man who raised me up and a strict master. Speaking of which, they are my elders. I'll bring you to see them when the time comes. Tang Yun saw that Lin Yi wasn't disappointed and secretly sighed in relief. At the same time, she was happy that Lin Yi planned to bring her to see his old man and master. Although she didn't know who these two people were, she knew that they weren't ordinary people. Otherwise, if Lin Yi was willing to bring her there, it meant that he approved of her. Tang Yun thought that Lin Yi was a rich young master, but she didn't think that he was an orphan. Although Tang Yun knew more about Lin Yi and knew that he didn't have the temperament of a rich young master, she just thought that it was because he had a good upbringing. She didn't know that his background was like this. However, Tang Yun put down the idea that Lin Yi's family was out of reach. She was afraid that Lin Yi's family was rich and wouldn't admit her relationship with Lin Yi. Now, it seemed that this worry was unnecessary. It made Tang Yun feel much better. Boss, come in. Xiao Fen is asleep. Tang Yun was thinking about Lin Yi's background when Kang Xiaobo ran out and shouted at the car. Tang Yun frowned slightly. She was getting along well with Lin Yi, but it was ruined by Kang Xiaobo. She got out of the car and glared at Kang Xiaobo. Aren't you afraid of waking Xiao Fen up by shouting so loudly? Kang Xiaobo didn't dare to talk back after being scolded by Tang Yun. He could only explain weakly, this villa is soundproof. Tang Yun snorted and ignored Kang Xiaobo. She walked in front of him and stepped on his foot. Then, she walked into the villa. Kang Xiaobo didn't know what happened to Tang Yun. He looked at Lin Yi helplessly. Boss, what happened to sis-in-law? Why is she so angry? How would I know? She was about to kiss me and was interrupted by you. Lin Yi shrugged. No way. Even this was interrupted by me. It seems like I'm a sinner. Kang Xiaobo looked like he deserved it. It's over. Sister-in-law's impression of me has worsened. Lin Yi was too lazy to care about him. He locked the car and entered the villa with Kang Xiaobo. Tang Yun was sitting on the sofa in the living room. Xiao Fen was lying beside her. She hadn't woken up yet. What are we eating tonight? Lin Yi glanced at Tang Yun and asked softly. Anything. Instant noodles will do. Why don't we wait for Xiao Fen to wake up? Tang Yun looked at the time on her phone. Although it was time for dinner, it wasn't appropriate for her to eat since Xiao Fen was asleep. Xiao Fen didn't wake up until 8 o'clock at night. The fear in her heart had dissipated, and her spirit had recovered a lot. Hearing that everyone was waiting for her without eating, Xiao Fen was very touched. She said embarrassedly, I'm sorry, I made everyone worry. Xiao Fen, we are actually here to accompany you. You don't have to worry about us. Tang Yun waved her hand. We are the happiest that you can walk out of the shadow. Yeah, Xiao Fen, are you hungry? Boss has been waiting for you. Kang Xiaobo also asked. I'm fine with eating anything. Xiao Fen shook her head. Let's eat whatever there is. It's already so late, there shouldn't be anything to eat, right? Chapter 368. The troublemaker is here. As for tomorrow's birthday banquet, it was an important occasion. Kang Mingming wouldn't be so rude as to make fun of Xiaofen. Although he and Kang Xiaobo were from different branches, they were still part of the Kang family in front of outsiders. If Kang Mingming were to attack Kang Xiaobo, then he would only be a laughingstock. So tomorrow was the best time to bring Xiaofen out and let her and Kang Mingming end things. After Kang Xiaobo gave the gift, they would leave quickly. There's instant noodles here. Let's eat first. Lin Yi opened the glass cabinet and took out the instant food. There were instant noodles, instant rice, ham sausages, and other instant food. These people weren't picky people. It didn't matter what they ate as long as there was food to fill their stomachs. After eating the instant noodles, everyone went to rest. Tang Yun supported Xiaofen to a room upstairs, not giving Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo any chance. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't really care. He and Tang Yun weren't really in a relationship, and they didn't express anything. They were just getting closer to each other. They hadn't even kissed yet, so how could they live together? Kang Xiaobo, on the other hand, was slightly disappointed. How sad, I wanted to get closer to Xiaofen, but I don't have the chance anymore. There will be chances in the future. Lin Yi patted Kang Xiaobo's shoulder. Xiaofen's not in a good mood today. Even if you want to do something else, she probably won't be in the mood. Why don't you wait for Kang Mingming's matter to be resolved? Once it's over, Xiaofen will be able to open up her heart. Boss, you're right. I was too anxious. Kang Xiaobo sweated. I'll listen to you. Ha ha. Lin Yi laughed. Let's go, we're going to rest. With that, Lin Yi found a room downstairs and was about to enter when Kang Xiaobo followed. Boss, wait for me. Why are you following me? Lin Yi turned around and asked curiously. Heh, boss, I wanna sleep with you. Xiaobo said with a chuckle. Fuck. Lin Yi felt a chill. Don't you like Xiaofen? Boss, you misunderstood, I'm very normal. I just want to chat with you. Kang Xiaobo sweated. I'm a little worried about my parents' attitude towards Xiaofen. Lin Yi realized that the guy wasn't worried about his sexual orientation, he was worried about his parents' attitude. Let's chat then, it's nothing. Lin Yi sighed. That's up to you. Fen's a good girl, but she got tricked. I'm sure your parents will understand if you tell them the truth. Yeah, I think so too, but I don't have enough confidence. I've been thinking that I'll talk to them about this when I can make a name for myself with Xiao Fen and make them look at me differently. But time waits for no man. Kang Xiaobo sighed. My parents will know about my relationship with Xiaofen tomorrow. I'm afraid they'll object. Haha, it's not impossible for you to make a career. Don't worry, I'll give you a chance soon. Lin Yi was thinking about his spokesperson. It would be a good idea to push Kang Xiaobo out, especially with the fact that Kang Xiaobo was Dr. Kang's relative. Miracle Dr. Guan would be able to make a name for himself in the market. Even patients who didn't believe in Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine would think that Kang Xiaobo also had the golden creation formula after knowing about the relationship between Kang Xiaobo and Dr. Kang. Really? Kang Xiaobo's eyes lit up when he heard Lin Yi's words. He shouted excitedly, Boss, you're too good to me. Go to sleep. We need to be energetic to deal with Kang Mingming tomorrow, Lin Yi reminded him. Yes, I'll go to sleep now. Kang Xiaobo nodded and left, finding a room to sleep in. Lin Yi, Kang Xiaobo, Tang Yun, and Xiaofen left the villa at 9 a.m. the next day. They still had instant noodles for breakfast. Although Li Yishuan wanted to send some food to Lin Yi, the boss didn't tell him and Lin Yi didn't call, so Li Yishuan didn't want to disturb Lin Yi. The tit-for-tat at the entrance of the resort yesterday made Zhao feel like he had lost a lot of face. He was the direct descendant of Miracle Dr. Kang, and yet he couldn't deal with a side relative. This made him very angry. At night, He found a familiar waiter and asked him to find out which room Kang Xiaobo and the others were staying in. He wanted to bring his men to humiliate them, but he couldn't find out anything. He could only let them go. It was impossible for them not to show up today. It was his grandfather's birthday banquet. Kang Xiaobo and the others would definitely come. Kang Mingming brought his men to wait at the entrance of the banquet hall. When Kang Xiaobo and the others came, he would humiliate them. Do you remember what second young master Kang said? One of Kang Mingming's men, Zhu Xiaozhong, gave a few bills to the security guards at the entrance and asked them arrogantly. I remember. Don't worry, Zhu bro. A security captain took the bills and said respectfully. Don't call me Zhu bro. Zhu Xiaozhong glared at him. Zhu bro and pig bro had the same pronunciation, which made him a little unhappy. Call me Xiaozhong bro, understand? Xiaozhong bro and arrogant bro had the same pronunciation, so Zhu Xiaozhong preferred people to call him arrogant bro. He was Kang Mingming's number one lackey. With Kang Mingming's name, he was indeed very arrogant. No one dared to mess with him. Yes, arrogant bro. The security captain quickly said. They are here. Another of Kang Mingming's men, Wang Shubing, had sharp eyes. He saw Lin Yi's broken van driving towards them. He had already memorized the license plate number. Last night, he went back and forth to look for the van, but he couldn't find it. The security captain and the guards who were in charge of guarding the door nodded. The two understood and rushed towards the van, ready to make trouble. Lin Yi was in the van. He saw Kang Mingming and his men talking to each other. They must be planning something. He curled his lips. Xiaobo, Kang Mingming is standing at the door. He will definitely cause trouble later. Be careful. Chapter 369. Why did she come? Chapter 369. Why did she come? En. Xiao Fen already knew that Kang Mingming didn't like her at all and was just playing with her. Kang Mingming would never change his mind. Although Kang Mingming's family moved from Songshan to Donghai, the two cities weren't far apart. He would have come back to see Xiao Fen a long time ago if he wanted to. Why would he ignore her? The reason why Xiao Fen was so determined to face Kang Jiaoming again was because she wanted to let her subconscious know that Kang Jiaoming was a bad guy. He wasn't her lover at all. Lin Yi parked the car and got out, followed by Kang Xiaobo, Tang Yun, and Xiao Fen. You guys, what are you here for? Security pointed at Lin Yi and asked. We're here for the birthday banquet. Kang Xiaobo suppressed his anger and looked at the three security guards. He knew that they were sent by Kang Mingming after Lin Yi's reminder. Xiao Fen grabbed onto Kang Xiaobo's hand tightly, not daring to let go. She didn't even dare to look at Kang Mingming. Birthday banquet? Where's the invitation? Take it out. Security extended his hand and asked. I'm here for my second grandpa's birthday banquet. Why would I need an invitation? Kang Xiaobo frowned. Your second grandpa? Who's your second grandpa? I think you're all liars, aren't you? The security captain spoke up with a slanted glance. My second grandpa is Dr. Kang. Kang Xiaobo was getting impatient. Don't be instigated by others. Instigate? What are you talking about? The security captain was angered. Look at you guys, dressed like this, wearing rags that only cost tens of kwai. Who would believe that Dr. Kang is your second grandpa? And you're here for the birthday banquet? I think you're all liars, right? Are you here to scam food and drink? Who are you calling a liar? Kang Xiaobo was anxious. Lin Yi tugged at Kang Xiaobo, motioning him to calm down. He glanced at the security captain and said lightly, What's your name? What the fuck do you care about my name? I'm telling you, you liars should leave as soon as possible, or I'll call the police. The security captain sneered and did not answer Lin Yi's words. Looks like I have to give brother Li Yishuan a call. Why are the security guards under him so high class? Kick the guests out. Lin Yi shook his head in disdain and reached into his pocket. Where did I put the business card? Oh, here it is. Seeing that Lin Yi mentioned Li Yishuan's name and really took out Li Yishuan's name card to make a call, the security captain was immediately dumbfounded. Of course, he knew what kind of person Li Yishuan was. He was the confidant of the big boss, President Tian. In this resort, when President Tian was not around, he was President Tian's spokesperson. Not to mention that he was just a small security captain. Even the security captain or the security manager was nothing in front of Li Yixuan. Previously, when he helped Kang Mingming to cause trouble for Lin Yi, the security captain was only doing it for the sake of money. But on Lin Yi's side, it was not as simple as money. If he offended Kang Mingming, at most, he would lose his money. If he offended Lin Yi, he would lose his job. Big brother. Don't call. I have eyes but failed to recognize you. Please don't lower yourself to my level. The security captain was about to cry. It turned out that the person who drove the broken van was the real god. He knew Li Yixuan. Even if their relationship was not that good, and they were just friends, Li Yixuan would definitely not offend Lin Yi for a small security captain like him. In Li Yixuan's eyes, he was just an insignificant person. If he was fired, there would be too many people who would want to replace him. On the other side, on Kang Mingming's side, they did not notice the conversation between Lin Yi and the security captain. The person they were paying attention to was Xiao Fen, who was beside Kang Xiaobo. Second young master Kang, look at the woman beside your idiot brother. Why does she look like the woman you used to play with? Zhu Xiaozhong pointed at Xiao Fen and said in surprise. Hey! You don't say, but it really looks like that little slut Lan Fen. Kang Mingming also widened his eyes in disbelief. Wasn't she killed by a car? Why is she still alive? I don't know. I gave the driver 500,000 yuan to kill her. Why didn't she die? Zhu Xiaozhong also thought it was strange. I spent 500,000 yuan for nothing. Xiaozhong, don't mention this anymore. Kang Mingming glared at him. How could he casually talk about hiring someone to kill someone? Fortunately, the three of them had done bad things together, so no one could criticize each other. Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubing were involved in Xiao Fen's incident. Hihi, it's just the three of us. Zhu Xiaozhong also felt that he had said something wrong. This matter really couldn't be casually talked about. If it was spread out, he would go to jail. But thinking about it, Xiao Fen's family didn't have much power and was extremely poor. Even if they heard this rumor, they couldn't do anything to them. Why is Xiao Fen here? Doesn't she know that I am Kang Xiaobo's brother? Kang Mingming was curious about Xiao Fen's purpose of coming here. Logically speaking, if Xiao Fen knew that he was Kang Xiaobo's cousin, she wouldn't come here to embarrass herself. He didn't think that Xiao Fen was here to cause trouble. Since she dared to come here to cause trouble, it was impossible for her to get any benefits. He wouldn't give it to her. She shouldn't be stupid. She wouldn't come here to embarrass herself, right? I was worried that I couldn't find a reason to humiliate them. Let's go and humiliate them. Zhu Xiaozhong smiled and suggested. Let's go and see what this bitch wants to do. Kang Mingming also wanted to see what Xiao Fen was here for. You guys move aside first. Zhu Xiaozhong waved his hand at the security team leader, indicating that there was nothing for them to do. Zhu Xiaozhong's attention was on Xiao Fen. He didn't see what happened between Lin Yi and the security team leader. He thought that they were humiliated badly. Yes. The security team leader was thinking about how to leave, but Zhu Xiaozhong came and gave him a chance to leave. If he didn't leave now, when would he leave? The security team leader quickly left with his subordinates. This kind of family's internal conflict wasn't something an outsider could participate in. Although it seemed that Kang Xiaobo's side was at a disadvantage, they actually knew Li Yixuan. The security team leader regretted it. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have gotten involved for a few hundred yuan. Chapter 370. A slap. Whether it was Kang Mingming, Zhu Xiaozhong, or Wang Shubin, they all thought that Xiao Fen came here by accident, and she didn't know that Kang Mingming would show up here. The most amazing thing was that Xiao Fen's boyfriend seemed to be Kang Xiaobo. Xiao Fen was shaking with anger after hearing Zhu Xiaozhong's words. She held on to Kang Xiaobo's hand tightly, her eyes filled with stubborn anger. Xiao Fen knew Zhu Xiaozhong. He was one of Kang Mingming's followers. Back then, when she and Kang Mingming were together, he followed behind her and called her sister-in-law, sweet and sweet. But now, he was calling her a bitch. I don't know you, who are you? Xiao Fen understood Kang Mingming's feelings after hearing Zhu Xiaozhang's words. She finally gave up on Kang Mingming. If Kang Mingming had a shred of consideration for their relationship, he wouldn't have let Zhu Xiaozhang say those words. And after Zhu Xiaozhang said those words, Kang Mingming acted as if it was only natural. This meant that Kang Mingming never loved her, he was just toying with her feelings. Xiao Fen was heartbroken, but she understood that he wasn't her lover, he was a demon. Xiao Fen believed all the rumors she heard before. It was said that Kang Mingming changed girlfriends as fast as he changed clothes. She didn't believe it at first, but looking at his face right now, she had to believe it. Hey, do you think that you can't admit what happened in the past just because you climbed up a high branch? Zhu Xiaozhong looked at Kang Xiaobo with a grin. Kid, did she trick you? Don't you know she's a second-hand trash? Our second young master Kang played with her until she was ruined, and you picked her up and treated her like a treasure? Yeah, Xiaobo, this woman was left behind after I played with her, how could you pick her up? If my uncle found out, wouldn't it be too embarrassing? Kang Mingming walked over with a kind look and said to Kang Xiaobo, don't be fascinated by this woman just because she looks pure. Kang Mingming, you're shameless. Xiao Fen was shaking with anger as she pointed at Kang Mingming. Xiao Fen never thought that Kang Mingming would be so shameless. Not only did he dump her, he even slandered her. I'm shameless. I don't think so. Kang Mingming shrugged. Some people like to be played by others. Who is to blame? I'm just reminding my brother not to be tricked by some bitch. Enough. Seeing that Xiao Fen was about to cry, Kang Xiaobo suddenly roared, Kang Mingming, you'll die a horrible death. How can you say that about Xiao Fen? You're her first love. She loved you deeply and gave everything to you. How can you say that about her? Do you still have a conscience? Huh? You don't even call me cousin because of a bitch. You even called me by my name. Kang Mingming sneered, her first love. So what? Who asked her to be a fool? I'm tired of playing with her, so naturally, I don't want her anymore. Am I supposed to raise her all the time? Although my family is rich, the number of women that I dumped is at least 80. If I bring all of them home to raise, I'll be poor. Hearing Kang Mingming's shameless words, Xiao Fen finally couldn't hold back her tears. He was too shameless, destroying the last bit of hope in Xiao Fen's heart. Even if he calmly said that he didn't like her anymore, so they broke up, Xiao Fen could still accept it. But Kang Mingming said that she was a fool. He said that she gave everything for him was a fool. Xiao Fen cried. She cried sadly. How can you say that? I already knew that you're not a good person. I should have forcefully broken you guys up. Tang Yun was infuriated as well. She pointed at Kang Jiaoming, the heartless bastard, and couldn't help but curse, you are too wicked. Hey! I was wondering who it was. Isn't this Tang Yun? I haven't seen you for a few years. You've gotten prettier. Why, is this your boyfriend? He's just SOSO. Kang Mingming glanced at Lin Yi with a hint of jealousy. Back then, he failed to pursue Tang Yun, so he changed to pursue Xiao Fen. He was still brooding over the fact that he didn't get Tang Yun. Driving this broken car is really degrading. Tang Yun, I didn't expect your taste to be so bad. That's right. Follow our second young master Kang. I'll buy you a 200,000 yuan car tomorrow. Zhu Xiaozhong jumped out and promised to Tang Yun, you won't have a future if you follow this idiot. Lin Yi didn't want to get involved in Kang Xiaobo's family business. No matter what, it was his family business. Letting him settle it himself was the best solution. Lin Yi was only a bystander. He only needed to watch Xiao Fen's illness. But he did not expect that this Zhu Xiaozhong diverted the trouble to someone else and bullied his head. If Lin Yi could endure being called an idiot, he wouldn't be Lin Yi. Pa. A crisp slap flew over, causing Zhu Xiaozhong to stumble on the ground. Zhu Xiaozhong cried out in pain. He spun 3 times on the ground and spat out 2 bloody teeth. His cheeks instantly swelled up like a steamed bun. Security, security, arrest them. Xiaozhong was stunned by the slap, and when he came back to his senses, he started yelling incoherently. How dare Lin Yi hit him? The security captain was hiding far away, watching the confrontation between the 2 groups of House Kang. He wanted to watch the show, but he didn't think that Zhu Xiaozhong would get slapped by Lin Yi. That wasn't a big deal, but the problem was that Zhu Xiaozhong called for security after getting slapped. The security captain was in a difficult position. He regretted not running far away. Now he was in a dilemma. If he went, he would definitely offend Lin Yi. He didn't know what kind of relationship this guy had with Li Yixuan. Offending him wouldn't end well, but they couldn't ignore Zhu Xiaozhong's call. They had just received a few hundred kuai in tips from Zhu Xiaozhong. It wouldn't be right to turn their backs on him so quickly. Moreover, Zhu Xiaozhong was staring at them. As the security guards of the resort, they had to show up. Just as the security captain was in a dilemma, another group of security guards ran over. One of them was a fat security captain. When he heard Zhu Xiaozhong's call for help, he rushed over. "Brother Xiaozhong, what's wrong?" This fat security captain was called Zhong Dingwei. He was the captain in charge of the banquet hall's security. He had received a 2,000 kuai red packet from the Kang family, so he did his best for the Kang family. Chapter 371. Another slap that kid, he hit me. Take him to the security room and teach him a lesson. Zhu Xiaozhong held his cheek as he mumbled. He's here to cause trouble. Zhu Xiaozhong was furious, but no one had dared to hit him since he'd been a lackey for Kang Mingming for so many years. As the saying goes, you need to look at the owner before you hit a dog. Naturally, people had to give face to Kang Mingming, but he wasn't an idiot. He only told the security to take Lin Yi away, not Kang Xiaobo. No matter what, Kang Xiaobo was still a member of House Kang. Humiliating him was fine, but beating him up would be a big deal. It'd be hard to explain it to Dr. Kang if he asked. Everyone knew that Dr. Kang cared about his face the most. Putting aside how he treated Kang Xiaobo's family in private, he still had to act respectfully on the surface. Otherwise, he wouldn't have invited Kang Xiaobo's family to his birthday party. The captain of the security team, Zhong Dingwei, looked at Lin Yi as he made up his mind. The kid's clothes were all cheap, and he didn't look like he had any background or status. "Kid, how dare you cause trouble in Moon on the Sea Resort? You've got guts. Come with us." Lin Yi. Tang Yin was a little nervous. She pulled on Lin Yi's arm, not wanting him to leave. Although Lin Yi had beaten up the Big Four in school, that was still a school. They were in society now, and these security guards clearly didn't have good intentions. Would Lin Yi be able to come back if he went with them? Lin Yi squeezed Tang Yin's hand and whispered into her ear. "It'll be fine. Don't forget that I know their boss." Tang Yun's ears went soft from Lin Yi's whispers. She blushed and looked at him. Even at a time like this, he still didn't forget to play tricks on her. Lin Yi was right. He knew the boss here. What was there to be afraid of? Zhong Dingwei saw that Lin Yi was ignoring him and whispering to the girl beside him. His face darkened. This was provocation and contempt. "You think you're awesome? I'm talking to you, didn't you hear me?" Zhong Dingwei reached out to pull Lin Yi's collar, but Lin Yi pushed him aside. "Where did the dog come from? Are you retarded? Which eye of yours saw me hit him?" "I'd say he hit himself." Lin Yi laughed coldly. His eyes suddenly turned to where the security captain was hiding. "Don't you think so?" The captain didn't get along with Zhong Dingwei. He wanted to see Zhong Dingwei make a fool of himself. He didn't think that Lin Yi would ask him to come out and testify. Cold sweat formed on the captain's forehead. He didn't dare offend Lin Yi, but he just accepted Zhu Xiaozhang's money. He'd be offending both sides if he kept his mouth shut, and wouldn't be getting any favors from either side. The captain made up his mind. He already had a grudge against Zhong Dingwei. So what if he helped Lin Yi testify? Hence, he rushed out and pointed at Zhu Xiaozhong. "I saw it. He hit himself. Zhong Dingwei, you're the captain of the banquet hall. I'm in charge of the security outside. Why are you sticking your nose in?" "Ah!" Zhong Dingwei blinked. "Zhu Xiaozhong hit himself? Is this for real?" However, when he saw Zhu Xiaozhang's vicious eyes, he understood. Zhu Xiaozhong definitely didn't hit himself. Who would be so stupid as to hit themselves for fun? "Old Sway, this has nothing to do with you. Do you want to testify? Do you know who Mr. Zhu Xiaozhong is?" His second young master Kang's. Before Zhong Dingwei finished, he was interrupted by Lin Yi. It's just a dog. Lin Yi curled his lips. Ha 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 ha. Kang Xiaobo laughed. In this situation, Lin Yi still dared to make such a joke. This made Kang Xiaobo feel very refreshed. All this time, Kang Jiaoming had always been the one suppressing him, but now, the people on his side were being trampled by Lin Yi. The most amazing thing was that someone came to testify. Zhu Xiaozhang's face turned the color of pig liver. Kang Mingming's face didn't look too good either. He didn't know where this Lin Yi came from. How could he make old Sui, the captain of the security team, betray him? Kid, who the fuck are you? Do you believe that I won't let you leave Moon on the sea? Zhu Xiaozhong was going crazy. When had he ever been humiliated like this? He came here to humiliate Kang Xiaobo and Lan Fen. He didn't expect to be humiliated by someone else. If he didn't get his revenge, he wouldn't be able to raise his head in the upper class of Donghai. Slap. It was another loud slap. But this time, no one saw Lin Yi make a move. This time, Zhu Xiaozhang's swollen face was on the right side. According to the palm print, he was hit with his left hand. But now, Lin Yi's left hand was holding Tang Yun's hand. You dare hit me? Captain Zhong, did you see this? He was the one who hit me. Hurry up and bring him back. We have a witness here. Let's see if he still won't admit it. Zhu Xiaozhong bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he yelled, all of you, keep an eye on him. I'll teach him a lesson after the banquet ends. But this time, Kang Mingming and Wang Shubin didn't speak up for Zhu Xiaozhong. Zhong Dingwei, on the other hand, was stunned. The first slap was indeed from Lin Yi, but who was the one who did the second slap? Lin Yi's left hand was holding Tang Yun's hand. This was a fact that everyone saw. Plus, no one saw him make a move. What's wrong with you guys? Zhu Xiaozhong waited for a while, but Zhong Dingwei didn't move. Kang Mingming and Wang Shubin didn't say anything either. He felt that something was wrong. You really are a lackey. You only have the IQ of a dog. Lin Yi looked at Zhu Xiaozhong with sympathy. You're starting to get delusional. There are so many people here, and no one saw me hit you. But you're saying that I hit you. You're hopeless. I suggest you buy some retarded pills. Maybe it will increase your IQ. Ha 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 ha. Xiaobo started laughing heartily. He'd never felt so proud of himself before, and seeing Zhu Xiaozhong and the others get humiliated was incredibly satisfying. Even Fen, who'd been crying a while ago, had a smile on her face. She, too, felt like she'd vented her anger. Chapter 372. Suffering in silence. Tang Yun had thought that it was just her imagination, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. Lin Yi had made his move, but it was too fast and too ingenious. No one saw how he did it. Tang Yun was pleasantly surprised. She blamed Lin Yi for being so evil, making Zhu Xiaozhong suffer in silence. It's your doing, right? Xiaozhong didn't believe that Lin Yi wasn't the one who hit him. His face was swollen. Captain Zhong, pull out the recording and see if it's him. Xiaozhong wasn't that stupid. He was furious, but he still thought of using the recording as evidence. I'm sorry, but I'm the one in charge of the security at the entrance. I refuse your request. Old Sui was already standing firmly on Lin Yi's side, so he had to go all the way. There's so many people here, and none of them saw this Mr. hit someone. Your request is unreasonable. Are you saying that we're all blind? Xiaozhong, of course, wasn't calling him blind. Even if he did, he wouldn't say it out loud. He was only suspecting that Lin Yi had used some sort of distraction tactic to achieve his goal. Old Sui, you're here to protect these troublemakers, aren't you? Dingwei couldn't find any evidence, but he couldn't just ignore what was happening in front of him. He had to start from another angle. I'm just telling the truth. I really didn't see anything, and neither did you. Old Sui said faintly. All right, Old Sui. Don't you know that Mr. Zhu and Master Kang are our honored guests? Li Bro specifically told us to ensure their safety. Now that Xiaozhong Bro is in trouble in your turf, I'd like to see how Li Bro is going to handle this. Dingwei pulled out his walkie-talkie and pressed a few numbers and a call button. He and Old Sui were of the same rank, both security captains. They didn't have any direct superiors or subordinates, so Old Sway could only use his superiors to pressure him. Whatever. When Old Sway heard that Zhong Dingwei was looking for Yishuan, he was overjoyed. He was afraid that Old Sway would not look for him. Now that Yishuan was here, and he knew Lin Yi, things would be easier. Dingwei Zhong thought that Laro Sway was being stubborn. He sneered and said to the walkie-talkie, "Brother Li, there are some problems at the entrance of the banquet hall. Someone is beating up our VIP, and Captain Sway is covering for him." "Okay, I will wait for you." After Zhong Dingwei finished, he looked at Old Sway proudly and thought to himself, "Let's see how you die." When Li Yishuan heard that someone was beating up a VIP, he didn't dare to delay and immediately rushed over on his electric scooter. However, when he got off the scooter, he saw Lin Yi. Li Yishuan hesitated for a moment before deciding to greet Lin Yi first. Lin Yi was someone that President Tian had specially briefed several times. Li Yishuan naturally knew that if he wasn't an important person or had a close relationship with President Tian would not have briefed him so many times. "Mr. Lin, you're here too." Li Yishuan walked over quickly and politely extended his hand to Lin Yi. Lin Yi extended his hand and shook Li Yishuan's hand casually. "I'm accompanying a buddy to his second grandfather's birthday banquet." Li Yishuan nodded and said politely, "Mr. Lin, please go ahead. If you have any instructions, just give me a call." Li Yishuan thought that Lin Yi was just passing by and wanted to enter the banquet hall, so he didn't pay much attention. However, Li Yishuan's words shocked everyone present, including the security captain, Dingwei Zhong. He finally understood why Old Sway lied through his teeth and stood firmly on Lin Yi's side. He knew that Lin Yi was Li Yishuan's real VIP. From Li Yishuan's words, his attitude towards Lin Yi could be seen. Dingwei Zhong looked at Old Sway's bright smile and wanted to punch him. He had been tricked by Old Sway. It wasn't worth it for him to stand out like this. He had pleased Zhu Xiaozhong, but he had offended Li Yishuan. "Little Zhong, what's going on? Who beat up a VIP?" Li Yishuan asked Dingwei Zhong after he and Lin Yi exchanged greetings. "Hehe, brother Li, it's like this. This Zhu Xiaozhong guy said that I beat him, but I didn't. Everyone saw it clearly. But this Captain Zhong also said that I beat Zhu Xiaozhong." Lin Yi said plainly. "Oh." Li Yishuan was stunned. He didn't expect this to be related to Lin Yi. "I can testify that Mr. Lin didn't beat Zhu Xiaozhong. Everyone here saw it. Brother Li, you can ask the crowd," Old Sway said confidently. Lin Yi did slap Zhu Xiaozhong, but there was no one at the banquet hall. Dingwei wasn't there either. As long as Lin Yi didn't admit it, no one would testify for him. But the second slap was not only witnessed by Dingwei Zhong, but also by the crowd. No matter who was asked, they could all testify that Lin Yi didn't beat Zhu Xiaozhong. "Little Zhong, what's going on?" Brother Li's face darkened. Although he felt that there was a problem, Old Sway's words were most likely credible. Seeing that the crowd didn't refute him, he was even more convinced that Dingwei Zhong was lying. This. Maybe I saw it wrong. How could Dingwei not understand the situation? If he still dared to help Zhu Xiaozhong, he would be offending Li Yishuan. "Dingwei Zhong, I fucking gave you 2,000 yuan, and you're saying you saw it wrong?" Zhu Xiaozhong exploded. He was hit, but no one believed him. His face was swollen like a bun, but no one believed him. Was there anything more painful than this in the world? Was there? Oh. The crowd of onlookers burst into laughter. Zhu Xiaozhong didn't shout about the inside story. Although they didn't see how Lin Yi hit Zhu Xiaozhong's face was indeed swollen. Some people still suspected that Lin Yi did something to it. But now that Zhu Xiaozhong was yelling like this, there was no doubt that Zhu Xiaozhong was the one who bribed Zhong Dingwei, and that he was beating himself up. Li Yishuan's gloomy gaze stopped on Dingwei Zhong's face. "Go back to the security office and write a self-reflection. If you can't do it, then get out." How could Dingwei dare to say no? He ran away with his tail between his legs, leaving the furious Zhu Xiaozhong behind. Chapter 373. The first round. Kang Mingming knew that he'd be humiliated if he kept this up. There were a lot of onlookers already, and they could prove that Lin Yi didn't hit Zhu Xiaozhong. It was hard to say how Zhu Xiaozhong's face got swollen. Kang Mingming suspected that Lin Yi was behind this, but he couldn't do anything without evidence. If Lin Yi didn't know Li Yixuan, it'd be easier. He could just find an excuse and let the security take him away. But Lin Yi knew Li Yixuan, and from the looks of it, they were close. Lin Yi, right? I'll remember you. Kang Mingming glared at Lin Yi, then at Kang Xiaobo and Lan Fen. You're standing up for them, aren't you? I hope you don't regret this. Some people have done things they shouldn't. I wonder if they regret it now? Lin Yi smiled, not taking Kang Mingming's threat to heart. Let's go. Kang Zhaoming waved his hand and left with Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubin. They walked towards the banquet hall unwillingly. Kang Xiaobo really wanted to wave his hands and shout "Long live the king" 3 times. He thought that today's meeting with Kang Mingming would be difficult, full of humiliation and helplessness. Kang Xiaobo was prepared to endure everything. After all, this was Kang Mingming's turf, and he wasn't Kang Mingming's opponent. He knew that the weak couldn't win against the strong. But he didn't expect that in the first round of battle with Kang Mingming, his side would gain the upper hand. Kang Mingming had to suffer in silence, and he left with his tail between his legs. Xiao Fen, did you see boss's power? With him around, we won't suffer any losses. Kang Xiaobo firmly said as he held onto Xiao Fen's hand. Xiao Fen had completely given up on Kang Mingming. When she saw Kang Mingming's ugly face, Xiao Fen felt a sense of relief. She felt that it wasn't worth it for her to be so haggard all these years. She felt that her actions of jumping off the building were laughable. How could she have fallen in love with such a cruel and unscrupulous person? At this moment, Xiao Fen had walked out of the shadow in her heart. She could face her life bravely in the future, because Kang Mingming wasn't worth her sacrifice. She could only pretend that she was blind. Seeing the smile on Xiaofen's face, Kang Xiaobo let out a breath of relief. Tang Yun was also happy for her. Xiaofen, have you thought it through? Yes, I've thought it through. I was too stupid in the past. Xiao Fen shook her head in self-mockery. This kind of person. How can I like this kind of person? I should cherish what I have now. As she spoke, Xiao Fen held onto Kang Xiaobo's hand even tighter. Kang Xiaobo was instantly excited. In the past, although he and Xiao Fen had feelings for each other, and they both acknowledged their relationship, Kang Xiaobo knew that there was always a shadow in Xiao Fen's heart, and that was Kang Mingming. If he didn't get over this, he would always be Kang Mingming's substitute. This made Kang Xiaobo very uncomfortable, and it was also the reason why he insisted on bringing Xiao Fen to see Kang Mingming. But at this moment, Kang Xiaobo knew that Xiao Fen had already confessed to him and expressed her feelings. How could Kang Xiaobo not be excited? Young Master Lin, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. Call me if there's anything. Li Yixuan saw that there was nothing else for him to do, so he nodded to Lin Yi and said politely. Lin Yi nodded, sorry to trouble you, brother Li. Li Yixuan gestured that it was nothing and left on the electric scooter. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, Kang Xiaobo, and Xiao Fen walked into the banquet hall, and the crowd followed them. Among these people, there were people who knew Kang Xiaobo and Kang Ming and knew that they were cousins. They only treated the conflict between the younger generation of the Kang family as a joke. Dr. Kang's birthday banquet was a Western-style buffet. Kang Xiaobo brought Lin Yi to a corner of the banquet hall. Actually, the purpose of this time was achieved. Xiao Fen saw Kang Mingming's true colors, and let her walk out of the shadow in her heart, allowing her to have a new life. After entering the banquet hall, Xiao Fen's mood was a little down. She must have been affected by the previous incident. Although she was completely disappointed in Kang Mingming, anyone who encountered such an incident would feel bad. Especially after being stupid for so many years, persevering for so many years, and in the end, it was all for naught. Anyone would feel uncomfortable. Tang Yun persuaded Xiao Fen softly, but this kind of thing didn't need anyone to persuade her. She would be fine after a few days. Boss, since we're here, it's not good for us to leave immediately. But after the younger generation celebrates the birthday, we can leave directly. I don't want to stay here for another minute. Kang Xiaobo was extremely disgusted with Kang Mingming's face. Is that person your father? Lin Yi didn't answer Kang Xiaobo's question. Instead, he pointed at a middle-aged man not far away. Beside him was Kang Mingming, who was gesticulating and saying something. It's my dad, but what is Kang Mingming doing? Kang Xiaobo was stunned. He didn't understand why Kang Mingming went to look for his father. Could it be that he went to complain? Kang Mingming couldn't be such a coward, right? After being humiliated at the entrance, he went to complain to the adults. I'm guessing that it's about Xiao Fen. Lin Yi frowned. I didn't expect Kang Mingming to be so mean. He actually went to your dad and said bad things about Xiao Fen. Fuck his 18 generations of ancestors. Kang Xiaobo was furious. If what Lin Yi said was true, then wasn't Kang Mingming a little too despicable? His 18 generations of ancestors. Isn't it your 18 generations of ancestors? Lin Yi smiled. Actually, it's nothing. You should think about it. You will have to tell your parents about this matter sooner or later. After he said this, you can tell your parents about Xiaofen's experience. I think they aren't unreasonable people. Lin Yi saw that Kang Xiaobo's father was a good person. Although he wanted to save some face, he wasn't a cold-hearted bad person. As long as he was reasonable and moved by his emotions, it wouldn't be difficult for him to accept Xiao Fen. Really? Kang Xiaobo heard Lin Yi's words and was overjoyed. Bro, you aren't lying to me, right? Why would I lie to you? Lin Yi shook his head. If it doesn't work, I can help you. Lin Yi's understanding of people's hearts was very accurate. He could help Kang Xiaobo. Chapter 374. Too bad it's fake. As expected, Kang Xiaobo's father frowned as he looked at Kang Xiaobo's side. He couldn't help but frown when he saw the 2 boys and 2 girls. He didn't think too much about it before. It was normal for his son to bring his classmates to the banquet, but 2 boys and 2 girls? That was a little too obvious. Kang Fu also suspected that there were 2 couples after hearing Kang Mingming's words. Did his son learn bad things? But Mr. Kang couldn't ask Xiaobo about it in front of everyone, and he knew that his nephew wasn't doing this out of goodwill. He tried so hard to stop Xiaobo and his classmate from staying at the hotel, after all, and there had to be some sort of grudge between them. It seemed that the grudge was with the girl beside his son. As for the girl shamelessly seducing this and that, Kang Fu was skeptical. Dr. Kang's birthday banquet officially started at 10 in the morning, and Lin Yi saw a few familiar faces. There was Liu Tianyi and Guan Shuamin, both of them sitting at a table and chatting. Dr. Kang's eldest son, the current head of Dr. Kang's group, Kang Gui Feng, was also sitting at their table, chatting with the 2 of them. Lin Yi didn't go over to greet them. He hid in the corner, waiting for the banquet to start. Kang Xiaobo gave his gift and left. It seemed that after he created the miracle Dr. Guan brand, it was inevitable that he would become Dr. Kang's competitor. He didn't have to worry about anything anymore. Judging from Kang Xiaobo's current situation, there was no way he could get back together with Kang Mingming's family. At least not with Xiaofen around. Amidst the impassioned speech of the MC and the applause of the guests, Dr. Kang slowly walked out. This was an old man with a rather dignified appearance. He was dressed in a red Han costume and had the temperament of an ancient Chinese medicine practitioner. Although it was a little speechless to become a leading enterprise in the domestic pharmaceutical industry because of a magical prescription, it was undeniable that Dr. Kang's golden creation did have a magical effect. Of course, many old people in the medical field didn't care much about Dr. Kang, because in their opinion, Dr. Kang couldn't be called a miracle doctor at all. They didn't know where he got a good prescription from, which made him the Dr. Kang of today. Looking at the other medicines produced by his company, they were nothing more than common medicines for common colds, headaches, and fever. The formulas were all open to the public, and there was nothing special about them. If it weren't for his golden creation medicine's reputation, he might not even be able to sell his home medicine. But he was lucky. With the red medicine, no matter what he produced later on, even if it was a normal medicine, it would still sell well. That was why he was able to create such a colossus like Dr. Kang's medical group in a short period of time. In fact, many people knew that Dr. Kang's medical skills weren't great. Thank you, guests, for coming to Dr. Kang's 62nd birthday. Next, we will send our blessings from Dr. Kang's descendant. The MC started the first procedure of the birthday banquet, which was to let the descendants present their gifts. After the descendants had presented their gifts, it would be the turn of the famous people in the society and Dr. Kang's friends. As for the others, they wouldn't have the chance to present their gifts on stage and could only place their gifts at the registration counter at the entrance. The first to go on stage was Dr. Kang's eldest son, Kang Gui-fong. He walked up the stage with his head held high, holding a red brocade box in his hand. The packaging was exquisite. "Dad, I'm giving you a 100-year Tianshan snow lotus." His eldest son, Kang Gui-fong, presented the brocade box with both hands and said respectfully, "I wish Dad a long and healthy life." "Good, very good. Bring it over and let me have a look," Dr. Kang ordered the MC. The MC quickly presented the brocade box to Dr. Kang. He opened it, and there was indeed a 100-year Tianshan snow lotus in it. Looking at its size, even if it wasn't a 100-year Tianshan snow lotus, it was at least 70 or 80 years old. Wow! Everyone was excited. As expected of a family of miracle doctors, even their birthday gifts were rare treasures. After the eldest son, Kang Gui-fong, left the stage, it was his youngest son, Kang Tsuepu, who presented his gift. He was holding a similar brocade box in his hand. It was incomparably beautiful. "Dad, I'm giving you a 1,000-year ginseng. It has already begun to take human form. This is a wild ginseng that I've sent people to search the mountains for 3 years and 3 months. Kang Tsuepu presented the brocade box with both hands and said respectfully, "I wish Dad a long and happy life." "Good, good, good." Dr. Kang said good 3 times in a row. He gestured to the MC and said, "Let me have a look. I want to see what a 1,000-year ginseng looks like." His eldest son, Kang Gui-fong, presented a 100-year Tianshan snow lotus. It was already rare, but this 1,000-year ginseng was even rarer. How could Dr. Kang not be excited? The MC quickly presented the brocade box to Dr. Kang. Dr. Kang opened the brocade box, and there was indeed a huge ginseng inside. It had already grown into human form. Although he didn't know if it was a 1,000-year ginseng, it was indeed a rare treasure. All the guests gasped as they looked at the ginseng in Miracle Dr. Kang's hands enviously, congratulating him non-stop. "Your uncle really knows how to curry favor. He gave me a ginseng, but it's fake. It seems like he's the same as that Kang Ming, a master of swindling people." Lin Yi's voice wasn't loud. He was only talking to Kang Xiaobo, Tang Yun, and Xiaofan. However, the guests nearby heard it. "Fake? Is it real?" The guests nearby heard Lin Yi's words and were in an uproar. They couldn't help but look at Lin Yi. If these people didn't pay attention, things would have been fine. But the noise was heard by Kang Tsuepu, and he looked at Lin Yi's direction with a cold, unfriendly gaze. However, Kang Tsuepu didn't say anything. He signaled his son, Kang Ming. Kang Ming immediately jumped out and pointed at Lin Yi. "Where did this guy come from? What fake? How can this ginseng be fake?" Seeing Kang Ming jump out in such a hurry, Lin Yi smiled faintly. Since it's artificially cultivated, it's naturally fake. Not to mention a 1,000-year ginseng, it's not even 10 years old. Lin Yi didn't want to interfere with Kang Xiaobo's family matters. However, this Kang Ming was too despicable. Lin Yi didn't mind mocking him a bit. He wanted to embarrass him and his father. "Guards, throw him out for me. How dare he cause trouble at Grandpa's birthday banquet?" Kang Ming roared angrily. The security guards in the banquet hall knew about the relationship between Lin Yi and Li Yixuan. Although they heard Kang Ming's order, they didn't dare to make a move. Chapter 375. How embarrassing. Although he didn't know much about ginseng, he didn't really trust his youngest son. His youngest son never did proper work, never went to the company, and used the dividends from the shares to eat, drink, and gamble. His grandson was just like him. What kind of 1,000-year-old ginseng could he dig up? Even Dr. Kang himself didn't believe it. But whether it was real or fake, this was his son's sincerity. Even if it was fake, he couldn't show it in front of outsiders. If there was anything, It should be discussed behind closed doors. Now that an outsider like Lin Yi had said it out loud, Dr. Kang felt like he had lost a lot of face. Kid, why do you say this ginseng is fake? Although Dr. Kang's voice was a little angry, he still maintained a calm demeanor. If you're just spouting nonsense, then apologize, and I'll pretend I didn't hear it. But if you don't, then I'm sorry, we don't welcome you here. Dr. Kang's words were reasonable, and no one could find fault with them. Instead, they felt that he was very magnanimous. Lin Yi had embarrassed them like this, and Dr. Kang only wanted Lin Yi to apologize. Lin Yi didn't expect these people to have such a big reaction. Even the old Dr. Kang had jumped out. It seemed that if he didn't say a few words, he would implicate Kang Xiaobo. Lin Yi could only stand up and explain helplessly. Wild ginseng has a long reed head and dense reed bowls. The ginseng body is the same length as the root. It has a human shape and a horizontal body. The horizontal lines on the main root are fine and clear. The color is darker, and the skin is thin and tough. There are many obvious pearl bumps. The cultivated ginseng is called garden ginseng. It has a short reed head and few reed bowls. The ginseng body is cylindrical, and the horizontal lines on the main root are sparse and discontinuous. The skin is thick and brittle, and the pearl bumps are not obvious. As for the authenticity of this ginseng, I think there should be experts in this field. Dr. Kang doesn't know, but there should be someone who knows, right? Lin Yi's words were very hurtful. It was obvious that he was mocking Dr. Kang for not knowing how to differentiate between real and fake ginseng. How could he be called a divine doctor? Dr. Kang's face changed. He didn't expect Lin Yi's words to be so logical. He thought that Lin Yi was just talking nonsense. He stood up and said something to give him a way out. But now, Dr. Kang was in a dilemma. Nonsense. Kang Ming jumped out again. Grandpa, don't listen to this guy's nonsense. He was sent here by Kang Xiaobo to cause trouble. Let's put the ginseng away and ignore him. Kang Ming's words obviously made people think that he had a guilty conscience. If the ginseng wasn't fake, he should take it out and let the experts here identify it. Why did he ask them to put it away? Kang Ming did have a guilty conscience. This ginseng was bought with his father, Kang Tsuepu. How could he not know whether it was real or fake? This ginseng was bought from an artificial farm. It only cost a few thousand yuan. How could it be 1,000-year-old ginseng? But Kang Tsuepu and Kang Ming both knew that their father didn't know whether the ginseng was real or fake. Kang Tsuepu's brother, Kang Guifeng, also didn't know. Even if Kang Guifeng guessed that it was fake, he wouldn't lose face in front of others. Besides, Kang Tsuepu only took the dividends in the company and didn't fight for power. This made Kang Guifeng have no resentment towards Kang Tsuepu. The two brothers got along well. Kang Guifeng often cleaned up after Kang Tsuepu's bad things. However, they didn't expect that Lin Yi would appear out of nowhere. Forget it. Take it away. Whether it's real or fake, it's a gift from Tsuepu. Dr. Kang was not stupid. Since Lin Yi said so, he must be confident. If he took it seriously, he would only humiliate himself. It was better to admit it generously. Anyway, others knew what kind of person his youngest son was. His reputation was already bad. It didn't matter if it was a little bit more. Dr. Kang admitted it so casually. It didn't cause any uproar. Since Dr. Kang said so, people didn't want to distinguish whether it was real or fake. Next was Kang Xiaobo's father. It was a very ordinary gift. It was just a few years old Ganoderma. Kang Tsuepu and Kang Ming had wanted to find fault with it, but it was just a few years old Ganoderma. You couldn't find any fault with a few years old Ganoderma. It wasn't a rare item in the first place. If they wanted to find fault with it, it would be like picking bones in an egg. Kang Tsuepu and Kang Ming didn't have a choice. They could only vent their anger on Kang Xiaobo later. The sons and grandsons had all given their gifts. Now, it was the grandson's turn. But according to Dr. Kang's patriarchal mindset, only men were allowed to give gifts. Granddaughters couldn't go up. The first to go up was Kang Guifeng's son, Kang Jiaolong. This Kang Jiaolong looked older, around 20 years old. He wore glasses and looked like a gentleman. He held a document in his hand as he walked up steadily. Grandpa, this is a research topic I researched during my PhD studies. I've already obtained a patent for it. This is a certificate from the school. Kang Jiaolong handed the certificate over respectfully. The MC was about to take it when Dr. Kang waved his hand and walked up himself. His face was flushed, the unhappiness from before gone. Good, Jiaolong, good job. I'm very happy. With that, Miracle Dr. Kang took the certificate and looked at it with a smile. He patted Jiaolong's shoulder. Work hard. You're the next generation Miracle Doctor of House Kang. Jiaolong nodded. Wah. The audience applauded. Everyone knew that Miracle Dr. Kang was choosing his successor. Is your eldest cousin a medical student? Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't expect Dr. Kang's family to have someone who studied medicine. Yes, he graduated from a proper medical school and is currently studying for a PhD in traditional Chinese medicine. Kang Xiaobo introduced. Actually, he's the only one who really knows medicine. It was a little ironic and funny, but it was the truth. Lin Yi was speechless as well. Why did Miracle Dr. Kang's family seem to be so unorthodox? After that, it was Kang Xiaoming's turn. His gift was even more mysterious. He said it was some kind of ancient prescription. But with his father Kang Tsuepu's example, no one was curious anymore. It was obvious that it was fake. How could ancient prescriptions be so easily obtained? Chapter 376. I step. Even if Dr. Kang didn't know much about medicine, he'd read a lot of books in order not to be a laughingstock. How could such an ordinary prescription for typhoid be called an ancient prescription? What a wastrel. Dr. Kang sighed inwardly. Fortunately, Dr. Kang had his eldest son Kang Gui Feng and grandson Jiaolong. At least the Kangs had a continuation, and they wouldn't fall after his death. At least until Xiaolong's generation. As for his great-grandchildren, they'd have their own destinies. Miracle Dr. Kang couldn't care less about what would happen after his death. Dr. Kang placed Kang Mingming's prescription under Xiaolong's certificate and nodded nonchalantly. All right. Whether or not this prescription works, it's still a token of Xiaoming's sincerity. After Kang Mingming left, it was Kang Xiaobo's turn to present his gift. When the MC called out Kang Xiaobo's name, Kang Xiaobo tensed up. Boss, can I do it? Sure, why not? Just go. Lin Yi patted Kang Xiaobo's shoulder encouragingly. Kang Xiaobo nodded and walked up the stage with the antique box Lin Yi had given him. Second Grandpa, this is a rare pill called the Pill of Life Extension and Toxin Cleansing. After taking it, a large amount of impurities will be expelled from the body, cleansing the bones and marrow. After the toxins are expelled, the body's physiological functions will return to peak condition, and it'll add at least 5 to 10 years to your lifespan. Kang Xiaobo presented the box with both hands. Happy birthday, second Grandpa. Oh! Dr. Kang frowned, displeased. As Dr. Kang, he was at the pinnacle of the medical world, and he'd never heard of something like the Pill of Life Extension and Toxin Cleansing. After eating it, it could even cleanse the marrow and reshape the bones. Could it really achieve the goal of prolonging one's life? Dr. Kang felt that if he accepted this elixir, he would lose face. As a Dr. Kang, did he still need this kind of elixir? Moreover, it sounded like an unreliable elixir. However, before Dr. Kang could speak, Kang Mingming jumped out and grabbed the small box in Kang Xiaobo's hand. Just as he was worrying about not being able to find a reason or excuse to attack Kang Xiaobo, this Kang Xiaobo actually took the initiative to come to him. Kang Xiaobo, don't try to mystify us. The Pill of Life Extension and Toxin Cleansing? How could this be? Do you think you're a martial arts practitioner who sells strength pills? Kang Jiaoming glared at him. What kind of person is my grandpa? It's Dr. Kang. What medicine doesn't our family have? But I've never heard of such a thing in this world. There are many things you haven't heard of. Kang Xiaobo said coldly. PH, what kind of trash is this? Then I'll open it for everyone to see. When Kang Mingming heard that Kang Xiaobo still dared to argue, he was furious. You won't shed a tear until you see your coffin, huh? As he said that, Kang Mingming opened the small box in Kang Xiaobo's hands and took out a black elixir. He laughed loudly. What pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is this? It can even cleanse the marrow and reshape the bones? Have you read too many wuxia novels? Have you gone mad? Second grandpa, I've already given you my birthday gift. Since second cousin doesn't believe me, I can't do anything about it. Kang Xiaobo resisted the urge to turn hostile and spoke in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. What? Feeling guilty? When Kang Mingming saw Kang Xiaobo's expression, he thought that he was feeling guilty. Kang Xiaobo, don't think that I don't know why you're here. Aren't you here to stand up for that bitch? She's trash that I've played with, and you're treating her like a treasure. You gave my grandfather a miraculous elixir that we've never heard of before. Aren't you trying to make a fool of our family? I know what you're thinking. You want people to see that our medical family hasn't seen this elixir before. That's what you're thinking, right? But you've miscalculated. My grandfather doesn't care for this trash of yours. As he said that, Kang Mingming threw the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing on the ground and stomped on it. That wasn't enough. He even used the soles of his feet to grind it until it was a pile of sticky powder. All right, you've given your birthday gift. You may leave. Throughout the entire process, Dr. Kang didn't say a word. He just stood there with a dark expression. He had his suspicions. Forget Kang Xiaobo, even his eldest son couldn't get such an elixir. So where did Kang Xiaobo get it from? It had to be fake. He could tolerate Kang Mingming because Kang Mingming was his own grandson. But he couldn't tolerate Kang Xiaobo. He felt that Kang Xiaobo was here to stir up trouble, especially after hearing his grandson Kang Mingming's words. So this cousin of his, Kang Xiaobo, was here to fight for a woman's affections. Nonsense. Dr. Kang snorted coldly. He looked at Kang Xiaobo's father. You've taught your son well. Why aren't you taking him away? Why are you leaving him here to embarrass yourself? Miracle Dr. Kang, on the other hand, didn't care about Kang Xiaoming's arrogant act of stepping on the pill. He didn't blame him, either. Clearly, he was protecting him. Xiaobo's father was quite furious. It wasn't very appropriate for his son to get some elixir as a gift, but Kang Xiaoming was the one who'd been causing trouble from the beginning. How was he supposed to embarrass his son? Xiaobo, were you bewitched by someone? Who gave you the divine expansion elixir? Apologize to your second grandpa now. Kang Fu reprimanded Kang Xiaobo. In order to give him a way out, he pushed the responsibility of the elixir to someone else. He meant that Kang Xiaobo was bewitched by someone else and it had nothing to do with him. Impossible. How could the elixir given by Big Brother be fake? Someone was blind and didn't know what was good. Kang Xiaobo was also furious. He said stubbornly, it's a pity that such a good thing was wasted. Kang Xiaobo trusted Lin Yi unconditionally. If Lin Yi said that it was an elixir, then he would naturally believe it was an elixir. Kang Xiaobo couldn't hold it in anymore. Now that even his father was blaming him, he finally exploded. Xiaobo, the gift is here. Some people call themselves divine doctors, but they're just quacks with bad eyesight. Lin Yi walked over with Tang Yun and Xiaofen and said to Kang Xiaobo, this is our Kang family's matter. Who are you to say anything? Dr. Kang was already furious when Lin Yi exposed the ginseng. He didn't hold back when he saw Lin Yi getting involved in his family's matter. Chapter 377. Being a supporting character Mr. Lin, Liu Tianyi couldn't believe his eyes. Lin Yi was at the banquet, and it seemed like he was on Kang Xiaobo's side. Liu Tianyi made his decision without hesitation. He would stand on Lin Yi's side. He had to explain to Lin Yi that he was only attending Dr. Kang's birthday banquet as a show of respect. Mr. Lin, why are you here? I'm so sorry I didn't see you earlier. Tianyi took a few steps to Lin Yi's side and spoke respectfully, under everyone's shocked gazes. Liu Tianyi didn't even need to think about the choice between Lin Yi and Dr. Kang to maximize the benefits of the Liu family, especially after hearing that Lin Yi had the intention of launching the Miracle Dr. Guan brand with him. Liu Tianyi was even more dismissive of Dr. Kang. What kind of miracle doctor are you? All you have is a golden creation. Lin Yi is the miracle doctor. Haha, I'm here with my classmate. Lin Yi shrugged and smiled. Looks like some people aren't interested in my pills. I should have given them to you if I knew this would happen. Is that so? That's great. Anything else? Liu Tianyi was flattered by Lin Yi's words. He never doubted Lin Yi's pills. He'd even believed Lin Yi when he said he could bring the dead back to life. He'd seen his father's condition firsthand. He'd gone from an old man to a man in his prime. He'd even started a vegetable garden recently. Liu Tianyi was happy to see this change. Of course, the person he was most grateful for was Lin Yi. The 100 million was worth it. Looks like I have to continue befriending Lin Yi in the future. I don't have any at the moment. This was given to me by an expert. Lin Yi shook his head. If I have any, I'll give you one. All right, thank you Mr. Lin, thank you Mr. Lin. Don't worry, I'm not the kind of person who takes things for free. As long as you have this kind of elixir, let alone 100 million, I'll even give you 200 million. Liu Tianyi said repeatedly. Although his father's body was fine, it was good to have an elixir at home. He wasn't young anymore. Maybe he could use it one day. Everyone present, including Dr. Kang, was dumbfounded by Liu Tianyi's word. The pill that was crushed by Kang Mingming was worth 200 million yuan? Is it made of diamond? If these people didn't know Liu Tianyi and knew his identity, they might have thought that it was Kang Xiaobo who hired someone to help him fake the elixir. But who was Liu Tianyi? Did he need to help others fake the elixir? Besides, not to mention Kang Xiaobo, even Dr. Kang couldn't get Liu Tianyi to fake the elixir. Xiao Yi, why didn't you give me one of those elixirs? It's such a shame that it's ruined for no reason. Just when everyone was shocked, something even more shocking happened. Guan Shuamin stood up and walked over with a smile. He patted Lin Yi's shoulder. Dr. Kang's expression changed again. Could it be that the elixir was real? Otherwise, why would Guan Shuamin say that? Although Dr. Kang felt that Guan Shuamin didn't make as much money as him, Guan Shuamin's medical skills were better than his. Grandpa Guan, Mr. Liu, we're leaving. What about you guys? Lin Yi asked with a smile. I still have something to talk to you about. Of course, I'm going back with you. Guan Shuamin knew what Lin Yi meant. He smiled. After the medical company was built, he would have to fight with Dr. Kang for the market. He didn't care about his reputation. There's no point in staying here. Why don't we accompany Mr. Lin? Liu Tianyi expressed his loyalty. He knew how important a miracle doctor was to a family, and it was a miracle doctor who could bring the dying back to life. So Liu Tianyi had already put down his pride. What was the use of having more money and power in his hands? Wouldn't he lose everything if he died? But with a friend like Lin Yi, it was equivalent to having an exemption from death. Liu Tianyi wasn't stupid. Kang Xiaobo's father wanted to stand up and scold his son. What kind of friend did he find to mess around at the banquet? But at this moment, there was only excitement left in his heart. His son's classmate was so capable. House Liu's Liu Tianyi and Guan Shuamin were very friendly to him. This made Dr. Kang's reputation fall to the bottom. Lin Yi turned around and looked at Kang Xiaobo indifferently. If you're a man, hold Xiao Fen's hand and prove it to them. This was a good opportunity for Kang Xiaobo. If he forced him to acknowledge Xiao Fen as his girlfriend, then even if Kang Xiaobo's parents were unwilling, they couldn't do anything about it. Lin Yi had already set a good start for him. Now that everyone was on his side, if Kang Xiaobo held Xiao Fen's hand and announced something to Kang Mingming, he wouldn't receive disdain from the crowd, but shock. Kang Xiaobo nodded and held Xiao Fen's hand. He puffed out his chest and looked at Kang Mingming. Second cousin, I'll return the damage you've done to Xiao Fen one day. Who the hell are you? Don't think that just because your friend knows a few people, you're someone too. Kang Mingming might be arrogant and despotic, but he wasn't an idiot. When he saw how Liu Tianyi and Guan Shuamin were chasing after the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he knew that he was in trouble. That pill might really be the real deal. He didn't know where the brat beside Kang Xiaobo got it from, but no matter what, he still crushed it. Therefore, Kang Mingming was obviously trying to be tough on the outside, afraid that others would blame him, so he shifted his target to Kang Xiaobo. Kang Xiaobo ignored him and turned to look at his second grandfather, saying with disappointment, Dr. Kang, huh? I'm not worthy of you. Someone else gave you a fake ginseng and a fake prescription, and you happily accepted it. I sincerely gave you a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but you treated it like trash. Haha, it's fine if I don't enter this house. After saying that, Kang Xiaobo held Xiao Fen's hand and walked out of the banquet hall. Lin Yi had already laid the groundwork for him. If Kang Xiaobo didn't have the courage to stand up and say these words, then he'd really be a coward. Lin Yi held Tang Yin's hand and followed behind Kang Xiaobo. Today, he appeared as a side character, and the main character was still Kang Xiaobo. Seeing Kang Xiaobo and Lin Yi's silhouettes getting smaller and smaller, Dr. Kang knew that today's banquet was destined to become a farce. Where's the pill? Dr. Kang wasn't in a good mood, so he could only vent his anger on Kang Mingming. The pill. Kang Mingming's heart skipped a beat as he looked at the spot where he'd stepped on the pill. Chapter 378. Meeting a fatty. However, just as Lin Yi was about to walk out of the banquet hall, something unexpected happened again. Lin Yi had just reached the entrance of the banquet hall when Yixuan followed a middle-aged man into the hall in a hurry. The middle-aged man was the owner of Moon on the Sea, President Tian. He and Yixuan were supposed to celebrate Dr. Kang's birthday, and since they were holding a birthday banquet in his territory, he had to be there as the owner to give his blessings. But to his surprise, people were already leaving the banquet hall. Hadn't the banquet just started? The dishes hadn't even been served yet, so why were people leaving already? Just when Mr. Tian was confused, Li Yixuan reminded him in a small voice, "Mr. Tian, this is Mr. Lin Yi." Ah. President Tian froze and looked at Lin Yi carefully. Sure enough, he was the same as the photo in the file. He hadn't noticed before, but after Yixuan's reminder, he immediately greeted him with a kind smile. "Young Master Lin, you're leaving?" "Hee, Uncle Tian, right?" Lin Yi saw him walk over with Yixuan and guessed who he was. "I'm just accompanying a classmate to his second grandpa's birthday banquet. I've already given him the gift, but he didn't like it, so there's no need for us to stay and embarrass ourselves." President Tian frowned. Young Master Lin's gift didn't catch his eye. Wasn't that suicidal? However, he didn't know if Lin Yi was on a mission or not, so he didn't dare say anything. He could only nod. "Do you need me to send someone to escort you?" "No need, we'll leave on our own." Lin Yi waved his hand and smiled. "All right, call me if there's anything. You can also look for Xiao Li." President Tian nodded. The scene at the entrance was witnessed by all the guests, causing them to be even more shocked. President Tian of Moon on the Sea was a celebrity in the upper class of Donghai City, and yet he was so polite to Lin Yi. Who exactly was this Lin Yi? Was he a young master from a rich family? From the looks of it, it should be. Dr. Kang had the worst expression on his face. He had never expected that Kang Xiaobo's classmate would be someone with a high status. If he had known that Lin Yi was a rich second generation, he wouldn't have let Kang Mingming crush the pill. The pill seemed to be real. Phew! After walking out of the banquet hall, Kang Xiaobo let out a long sigh and clenched his fists in excitement. "Boss, this is the first time I've felt so proud. Look at my second grandpa and Kang Mingming's faces, they're all twisted. Right now, they were probably regretting to death that the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing had been crushed by Kang Mingming. That idiot is going to be in trouble when he gets home. Hee. Lin Yi patted Kang Xiaobo's shoulder. At the very least, Kang Xiaobo had taken the first step today, making him a man of indomitable spirit. Yeah, it's such a pity. If I'd known that Mr. Lin was the one who provided the pill, I'd have gone up to the stage and snatched it even if I'd been laughed at," Tianyi said regretfully. What a waste of a treasure. Xiaofan was worried that she would be humiliated by Kang Mingming's family. But now, she understood that she could also stand on a high ground and look down on the Kang family. Just now, when Kang Xiaobo said those words in a cold voice, when he said that he wanted Kang Mingming to return the harm he had done to her, Xiaofan was so emotional. As for Kang Mingming, his eyes were flickering, and he didn't even dare to speak. "Thank you, Xiaobo." Xiaofan turned to look at Lin Yi. "Thank you." Xiaobo's boss, "Hey, what's the point of saying all these?" Lin Yi waved his hand. "We're on the same side. Xiaobo, I'm going to give you a stage to show off. I'm going to let you stand at the same height as Dr. Kang, or even surpass him." Really? Kang Xiaobo was stunned, and his eyes shone with hope. He never doubted Lin Yi's words. This was just to express the surprise in his heart. Boss, thank you. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Just when Kang Xiaobo was extremely excited, a fatty ran out of the banquet hall, panting as he ran. As he ran, he said, little bro, wait for me. Lin Yi looked at the panting fatty and was confused. Who are you calling? I'm calling you, little bro. The fatty ran to Lin Yi and kneeled in front of Lin Yi. Little bro, please, sell me one of that pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. I'm willing to pay any price. 100 million? No, 500 million is fine too. Lin Yi was speechless as he looked at the fatty. Was there something wrong with this guy? Running out to buy a pill from him? Did he really believe it? Little bro, I'm begging you. Seeing that Lin Yi wasn't answering, the fatty suddenly hugged Lin Yi's leg and started sobbing. Sell me one, I'm willing to pay any price. As long as you're willing to sell it to me, you'll be Fatty Lai's savior. I'm begging you, I'm gonna faint. Don't cry first. Lin Yi was a little dumbfounded. He'd wanted to move the fatty away and ignore him, but he didn't expect the guy to start crying like that, not to mention in such a heartbreaking manner. A grown man crying in front of him. Lin Yi really didn't know what to say. Little bro, if you promise me, I'll stop crying. Fatty Lai woke up, snot dripping onto Lin Yi's pants. Lin Yi felt a chill run down his spine. Then cry yourself to death. Lin Yi was speechless. Then if I stop crying, you'll sell it to me? Fatty Lai asked, quickly stopping his crying. Old Lai, what are you doing? If you have something to say, just say it. Look at you making a fool out of yourself. Liu Tianyi spoke up. Evidently, he knew the fatty. Old Liu, don't you feel pain in your back? You're so happy that your dad's cured, but my old man's still lying on the sickbed, sob. Fatty Lai started sobbing again. I told you to tell me the miracle doctor who treated your dad, but you kept it a secret. If I don't fight for it now, I'll lose my chance again. You old fox. Lin Yi understood now. This guy had a sick dad too. He knew Liu Tianyi, and he knew that Liu Tianyi's dad was cured, so he paid attention to it. He might have asked Liu Tianyi before, but Liu Tianyi didn't dare tell anyone about him without his permission, so Fatty Lai still held a grudge against Liu Tianyi. Chapter 379. Grab rubbish bro, I'm not crying anymore. Can you sell me one? Fatty Lai ignored Liu Tianyi and looked at Lin Yi while wiping his tears. Not for sale. Lin Yi shook his head. Why? Sob. Bro, I have money. Whatever that old fox Liu Tianyi can spend, I can too. I can spend even more than him. Fatty Lai cried again. Lin Yi was a little depressed. Why did this fatty love to cry so much? A crybaby? He helplessly explained, I only have this one. I don't have any more now. If that's the case, then when will you have it? Fatty Lai's face turned dejected. Just one. No more. I'm not sure. Lin Yi didn't know Fatty Lai at all, so he wouldn't just give him a random pill. The few elixirs in his hands were meant to be given out when the company opened for business as a gift to boost the company's reputation. Of course, Lin Yi wouldn't waste them. Fatty Lai was a crybaby, and he seemed like a filial son, but there were too many filial crybabies out there. Every single one of them would run up to him with tears and snot all over their faces, asking for pills. Even if he didn't tire himself to death refining pills, he'd still be annoyed to death by them. Therefore, this precedent could not be broken. He would never give it to someone he wasn't familiar with. Ah! I see, sob. Fatty Lai started bawling again when he heard Lin Yi's words. Dr. Kang, that unfilial bastard. That bastard. What a waste of a heavenly gift. Motherfucker. Lin Yi sympathized with Fatty Lai's situation, but he couldn't just give him a pill out of sympathy, could he? Lin Yi wasn't a charity organization, after all. At that moment, a cleaner walked over with a trash bag, ready to throw it into the trash can of the resort. Fatty Lai's eyes were sharp, and he recognized the cleaner right away. It was the one who cleaned the pill that Kang Jiaoming had crushed in the banquet hall. He jumped up from the ground and ran to the cleaner's side. Don't throw it away, just give me the trash bag. The cleaner was startled and was at a loss of what to do. She looked at the fatty, whose face was still full of tears, in horror. You. What do you want? Fatty Lie didn't want to drag this on any longer, so he didn't bother explaining and grabbed the trash bag from the cleaner's hands. He'd have screamed robbery if it weren't for the trash in the bag. But because the garbage bag was filled with useless trash, the cleaner didn't even fight with Fatty Lie when he saw him snatching it like a madman. He let go and ran away in fright. Who would fight with a madman like him over a trash bag? The cleaner thought that this fatty dressed like a dog, but he was actually a madman. It seemed like he had to stay away from him. Fatty Lie ignored the cleaner. He didn't care what the cleaner thought. Finding the pill that Kang Jiaoming crushed was the most important thing. Lin Yi, Kang Xiaobo, Tang Yun, Fen, and even Liu Tianyi looked at the crazy Fatty Lie in shock. They didn't know what he was trying to do. Old Lie, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Liu Tianyi had a small conflict with Fatty Lie, but their relationship wasn't bad. He quickly reminded Fatty Lie when he saw him acting so shamelessly. If his business rivals saw this and filmed it, wouldn't they laugh at him? But Fatty Lie didn't seem to hear Liu Tianyi's words at all. He opened the trash bag in his hand and took out the things inside and threw them into the trash can. There were lunch boxes, instant noodle buckets, toilet paper with snot on it, chewed bubblegum, disposable chopsticks, and everything. There were even flies and mosquitoes flying out. Liu Tianyi felt disgusted. Was this Fatty Lie crazy? What was he doing? Shut up. I want to find the pill that was crushed by that wastrel. Fatty Lie roared as he searched the trash bag for something. Forget it, let him look for it. It would be his fortune if he could find it. Lin Yi shook his head. Although it was crushed by Kang Mingming, the effect was the same. Liu Tianyi was shocked. He didn't expect Fatty Lie to come up with this idea. He wanted to find the pill that Kang Mingming crushed. Found it. Fatty Lie pulled out a black ball from the trash bag and held it in his hands excitedly as if he'd found a treasure. Great, I finally found it. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha, congratulations, Brother Lie. Liu Tianyi walked over and patted Fatty Lie's shoulder. Get lost. Fatty Lie glared at Liu Tianyi. Don't you dare take my pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. I'm not giving it to you. I'm not taking it. Liu Tianyi knew that he didn't tell Fatty Lie about Lin Yi. Fatty Lie was a little unhappy, but he couldn't blame Liu Tianyi. Without Lin Yi's permission, he wouldn't dare say anything about Lin Yi. Hey, why's this pill so big? I didn't see it this big before. Fatty Lie suddenly ran over with the black ball in his hands. Bro, can you help me take a look? Is this it? Hey, why is there a stench? Is this pill smelly? Is good medicine bitter? Lin Yi glanced at the black ball in Fatty Lie's hands and dodged to the back. Tang Yun wanted to go over to take a look, but Lin Yi pulled her back. What's wrong? Tang Yun was curious why Lin Yi didn't let her go over. It's this pill, but it's stuck together with a ball of dog poop. Lin Yi said to Fatty Lie. Dig out the light-colored thing on the left. That's dog poop, that's why it smells. Ah? Fatty Lie's eyes widened, sweating profusely. Dog poop, however, Fatty Lie gritted his teeth. Even if there was dog poop on it, he had to dig it out. Liu Tianyi couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Dog poop on it. This Fatty Lie sure was unlucky. But Fatty Lie didn't think so. In fact, he felt lucky. So what if it was dog poop? It was already good enough that he could find it. It didn't matter if it was dog poop on it. Fatty Lie carefully dug out the side without dog poop. He didn't dig it out completely, and there was still some dog poop stuck on it. But Fatty Lie didn't dare dig anymore. He couldn't let his dad eat dog poop, could he? Chapter 380. Go get it. Lin Yi thought to himself that Fatty Lie was a rich man. These cigars were obviously expensive, but he threw them away just like that. The cost of one pill wasn't even as much as one of his cigars. Fatty Lie, on the other hand, didn't think so. He treated it like a treasure, and in his eyes, he wouldn't sell it even if he offered it to Lin Yi for 500 million, let alone 100 million. It was a priceless treasure. As the saying goes, 1,000 gold can't buy 10 years of youth. If his father could live for another 10 years after eating this pill, it would be a priceless treasure. However, this pill seemed to be a lot less than before. Would it still be effective? At the thought, Fatty Lie quickly asked, "Bro, this pill is much smaller than before, will it still work?" The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing had been stomped on by Kang Mingming, and quite a bit of it was stuck to the floor. Only a small amount was left after sweeping it up, and the rest was wiped away by the cleaner with a mop. A little. It's hard to say for 5 or 10 years, but it's still possible for him to live for another 1 or 2 years. Lin Yi said, "It depends on your father's condition and how much poison is in his body. My dad has uremia. Can he detoxify it?" Fatty Lie was afraid that Lin Yi would ignore him. Now that he saw Lin Yi asking him a question, he quickly went along with it. If he could get Lin Yi's guidance, he'd be so happy he'd go crazy. "Yes, it's a little effective. It won't be a problem to hold out for another year or so," Lin Yi said. Can it be cured?" Fatty Lie asked quickly. "Maybe after eating 10 or 20, right? I can't say for sure." Lin Yi did not lie to him. How could uremia be so easily treated? Only the combination of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine could cure it. "Bro, can you cure my father? I'll follow you for the rest of my life. I'll do anything for you. No matter how much money you spend, I'm willing." Fatty Lie knelt in front of Lin Yi again. This time, not only was his snot all over Lin Yi's pants, but the hand that had grabbed dog poop earlier was also grabbing onto Lin Yi's pants tightly. Let go of me first." Lin Yi thought to himself, "I'll throw these pants away when I get home. I can't keep them anymore. Then you'll treat me?" Fatty Lie was overjoyed after hearing Lin Yi's words. "Get up right now, and get the fuck back home. Give that to your old man to eat first, he won't die so soon," Lin Yi said helplessly. "Let me think about it first, then we'll talk about it. Speaking of which, you seem to have some face. A celebrity? Alright, I'll go back immediately." Fatty Lie nodded quickly. "I have a bit of a reputation in the business world." "Bro, what's up?" "Nothing much. I'll start a company in a few days, and you can come and support me when it opens. I'll give you a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing too." Lin Yi nodded. "Are you free? If not, then forget it." "Yes, yes, yes." Fatty Lie said the word yes 3 times in a row, afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't hear him clearly and cross him off the invitation list. He was so excited he almost fainted. "I'll be your follower. Don't worry, I might be fat, but I have strength. I'm good at running errands." "Then go. Get my number from Mr. Liu." Lin Yi was at his wit's end from Fatty Lie's pestering. He had no choice but to give him a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Giving it to someone else to experiment with was no different than giving it to the fatty. All right. Fatty Lie nodded, satisfied, and respectfully sent Lin Yi off to a shabby van. Fatty Lie thought to himself, "So Lin Yi likes this kind of car? I'll get a new one tomorrow, just like him. That's the only way to show that I'm a good follower." Dr. Kang's birthday banquet was still going on, and the guests were all smiles, but Dr. Kang couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong with the atmosphere. He looked at Kang Mingming standing at the side, and it reminded him of what happened earlier. After the guests finished giving their gifts, Dr. Kang waved at Kang Mingming. Kang Mingming quickly ran over. He knew that he'd gotten into trouble, and the situation was clear. Lin Yi was a young master, and he didn't know how Kang Xiaobo knew this person, but Lin Yi's identity was definitely not simple. From the attitude of Director Tian, Liu Tianyi, and Guan Shuamin towards Lin Yi was definitely not simple. And that so-called pill of life extension and toxin cleansing might be real as well. Perhaps it was some kind of rare treasure from somewhere, but Kang Mingming treated it like trash and stomped on it. "Grandpa." Kang Mingming walked over carefully, his hatred for Kang Xiaobo deepening by another level. "Why didn't you say so earlier that you got to know such a powerful boss? You've made a fool out of me. Go look for the cleaner just now and find that so-called pill of life extension and toxin cleansing he swept away." How could Dr. Kang not understand something that even Kang Xiaobo understood? He also felt that if the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was real, it would be a waste to throw it away. However, He couldn't let outsiders see it and lose face, so he reminded, "Be careful, don't let others see it." "Got it, Grandpa." Kang Ming Ming saw that there was still a chance to salvage the situation, so he quickly nodded and followed his grandfather's instructions. Kang Ming Ming quickly walked out of the banquet hall when no one was paying attention. In reality, he was like an insignificant clown, so no one paid any attention to him. As soon as Kang Ming Ming walked out of the banquet hall, he bumped into the cleaner who had just been cleaning. He quickly ran over. "Auntie, can I ask you something? Where did you throw the rubbish you just swept away?" Kang Ming Ming had a favor to ask of the cleaner, so he had to change his attitude. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done this under normal circumstances. "The rubbish bin outside." But before the cleaner could finish her sentence, Kang Ming Ming turned and ran. The cleaner shook her head. She wanted to remind him that there was still a fat man snatching the rubbish from the rubbish bin, but Kang Ming Ming was too anxious and didn't hear the latter part of her sentence. Kang Ming Ming was afraid that the rubbish in the rubbish bin had been taken away, so after hearing the cleaner's words, he quickly ran out. When he reached the entrance of the banquet hall, he saw an open rubbish bag beside the rubbish bin. Kang Ming Ming was shocked. It couldn't have been stolen, right? But then he remembered that near hotels and resorts, there were always people who liked to scavenge through rubbish bins to pick out drinks and bottles that could be sold for money. No one should know what that lousy pill was, right? However, Kang Ming Ming didn't dare to delay. He quickly ran over and picked up the rubbish bag, then rummaged through it. Chapter 381. Finally found it. A wave of stench assaulted Kang Ming Ming's face. Kang Ming Ming nearly puked. What the hell is this thing? Why is it so smelly? Kang Ming Ming had thought that it was the stench of the trash bag in his hand, so he quickly tossed it aside and stood up. But it was still smelly after he stood up. Kang Ming Ming looked around and realized that the stench was coming from the pill in his hand. Why does this pill smell like this? Kang Ming Ming's stomach churned. Wasn't this a little too smelly? Had it been like this before? But Kang Ming Ming thought about it for a long time, and couldn't figure out if the pill had been smelly or not when he'd stepped on it. He'd been too excited at the time, and he'd only been focused on mocking Kang Xiaobo. How could he have had the time to care about whether the pill smelled good or bad? That's probably it. Kang Ming Ming nodded in self-consolation. The color of the dog poop was just too similar to the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Kang Ming Ming had only taken a look at it in his hand before stepping on it, so he couldn't remember the color. Kang Ming Ming hurriedly and carefully held the dog poop in his hand. After making sure that no one was paying attention, he carefully ran back into the banquet hall. As soon as he entered, he saw his grandfather, Dr. Kang's inquiring gaze. Kang Ming Ming quickly nodded to him, indicating that he'd found the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Dr. Kang breathed a sigh of relief. If it really was a treasure, then it would have been a waste to throw it away. He had to give Liu Qianni a call tonight to see if there really was such a thing. Liu Qianni wanted to invite Lin Yi to sit in his car, but when he saw that Lin Yi drove his own car, he had to give up. Lin Yi drove Tang Yun, Kang Xiaobo, Xiao Fen, and Guan Shuamin back to Songshan. He sent Tang Yun back to the hospital and Xiao Fen back home before bringing Kang Xiaobo to Guan Shuamin's house for a discussion. Kang Xiaobo originally wanted to accompany Xiao Fen. He was afraid that Xiao Fen would be in a bad mood after seeing Kang Ming Ming today. But when Xiao Fen heard Lin Yi calling Kang Xiaobo for something important, why would she waste his time? He shook his head at Kang Xiaobo and smiled. "Xiaobo, brother Lin Yi is looking for you for something serious. You don't have to accompany me, I'm fine. I'm feeling much better now." "Are you really fine?" Kang Xiaobo was still worried. After all, he was hurt so deeply by Kang Ming Ming. How could he be fine just like that? "Haha, I'm waiting for you to take revenge for me one day." Xiao Fen smiled. "I'll remember what you said today." "Alright, wait for me, I'll definitely do it." Kang Xiaobo clenched his fist. Lin Yi smiled. He gave Kang Xiaobo a stage to show off, but he needed Kang Xiaobo to be willing. If Kang Xiaobo was sloppy, even if he became his spokesperson, he would only be a role to supervise others. But if he was filled with fighting spirit, it would be different. As long as he had the intention, he would work hard and succeed sooner or later. As long as he had the confidence and dreams, he would definitely achieve it. Tang Yun, I won't be going up. Grandpa Guan already told me about your father's surgery. I can't do anything about the bone problem, but after he's done with the surgery, I have some medicine that can quickly heal his wound. Lin Yi said to Tang Yun when she was about to get off the car, I'll send it to you on Monday, I didn't bring it with me today. Thank you. Tang Yun nodded and didn't refuse. She didn't know when it started, but she gradually got used to Lin Yi's care for her. After Tang Yun got off the car, Kang Xiaobo couldn't help but ask, Boss, are you talking about the medicine similar to my second grandpa's golden creation medicine? In the market, only Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine could quickly heal a wound. No wonder Kang Xiaobo was surprised. He didn't expect Lin Yi to have this kind of medicine in his hand. Haha, it should be similar. I haven't seen his formula before, so I can't say for sure, but the effect should be similar, Lin Yi nodded. Kang Xiaobo was shocked. At this moment, he finally understood why Lin Yi was so confident in supporting him to break with Kang Mingming and his second grandpa's family. When Lin Yi said that he could let him be on the same level as his second grandpa, Kang Xiaobo didn't really believe it, but for the sake of his face, he said it boldly. At first, Kang Xiaobo was a little nervous, not knowing if his bold words would become a joke, but now, he knew that it wouldn't. If Lin Yi also had a formula similar to golden creation, then he was completely qualified to be on the same level as his second grandpa. Dr. Kang's medical company only made money from golden creation. Boss, you are really amazing. Where did you get the formula? My second grandpa hid the formula so well that even my grandpa didn't know. Kang Xiaobo said and sighed. My grandpa is also stupid. He didn't know where the formula was, and my second grandpa stole it. I made it myself. Lin Yi shrugged. Kang Xiaobo was going to be his spokesperson soon, so it was fine to let him know some core secrets. You made it yourself? Kang Xiaobo was so shocked that his eyes widened. Lin Yi can make such a formula himself. How amazing is that? All right, it's good that you know. Don't tell anyone. Lin Yi patted Kang Xiaobo's shoulder. I have some personal reasons, and I don't want to stand out. So, this company belongs to you and Grandpa Guan to the outside world. Don't worry, boss. I won't tell anyone. When Kang Xiaobo heard that Lin Yi trusted him as a spokesperson, he was immediately touched. He nodded and said, Xiaofan and I won't tell anyone, this can be said. Lin Yi sweated. Xiaofan's leg, I have to solve it sooner or later, so it's fine to tell her. It's fine as long as a small group of people know. Boss, I just realized that the wisest decision I've ever made in my life was that day when I decided to help you fight on the rooftop. Xiaobo sighed. You wouldn't be taking care of me like this if I hadn't done it on impulse. Kang Xiaobo still had some self-awareness. He knew that he was useless. In Lin Yi's eyes, he couldn't help at all. If there was something that could make Lin Yi look up to him, it was that time. However, what Kang Xiaobo said was really true. It was indeed because Kang Xiaobo could stand out in a hot-headed manner that Lin Yi regarded Kang Xiaobo as a brother. Chapter 382. Go call and ask. With the incident with Kang Xiaobo and Kang Mingming's incident, Dr. Kang's birthday banquet ended hastily at noon. The atmosphere was good, but there was an indescribable sense of oppression. It was the same for both the host and the guests. Dr. Kang didn't give Kang Xiaobo's parents a good look. Kang Xiaobo's parents couldn't do anything about it. While Kang Xiaobo's incident had caused quite a commotion, Kang Xiaobo's parents knew that it wasn't Kang Xiaobo's fault. Kang Xiaobo had given his second grandpa a huge gift, a precious pill. It was done out of kindness, but Kang Mingming didn't appreciate it and crushed the pill without any hesitation. And Dr. Kang didn't stop him after seeing it. That was the problem. Miracle Dr. Kang, from the bottom of his heart, felt a great distance between Zhaoming and Xiaobo, his own grandson and his cousin. No matter how much Kang Mingming had gone overboard, he was still his grandson. He could tolerate it, but Kang Xiaobo hadn't done anything wrong yet. He only suspected that Kang Xiaobo had brought a fake pill to take advantage of his title as a miracle doctor, and yet he allowed Kang Mingming to do something so disrespectful. Even if Kang Mingming's words were a little overboard, it was understandable. He was a boy, after all, and it was impossible for him to not be impulsive. So, Kang Xiaobo's parents were very understanding. What made them happier was that Kang Xiaobo's good friend seemed to be very powerful. So many big shots knew him and were very friendly to him. That meant that Kang Xiaobo wouldn't be at a disadvantage if he followed him. So, even though Kang Xiaobo's parents were treated coldly and disdainfully by Dr. Kang's family, they still felt a little comforted. Dr. Kang's family didn't like them, either. After the banquet, Kang Xiaobo's parents left without even greeting them. It was clear that Dr. Kang's family was furious about the humiliation earlier. If you ask me, what kind of relatives do you have? It's fine if they don't help us after they become rich, and we don't mind that. But what's the meaning of this? Kang Mu wasn't a member of the Kang family, and was extremely displeased by what happened today. Don't talk to relatives like this. Forget it. If it wasn't for Dad asking me to come, I wouldn't have come. Father Kang smiled bitterly, but your son really made my second uncle lose face today. Chimph, my son? Isn't he your son? Kang Mu couldn't help but be proud when she mentioned her son. You see how loyal my son's friends are. They aren't even relatives yet, but they can speak up for him. They also know many powerful big shot. Look at your cousins. What are they? Right, the girl that my son pulled today, why is she a little lame? And what Kang Mingming said. Kang Fu was a little embarrassed. He didn't want to talk about his family anymore. No matter what, he was the second uncle who was related by blood. He was an elder. At the very least, it was his father who went to punish him. He couldn't say much. I saw it too. Kang Mu was also a little worried. Xiaobo said those words today. Does he really like that girl? It seems that he deliberately stood up for her. I think so too. Kang Fu nodded. What should we do? Not to mention this kid's puppy love, he even found a lame girl. I don't know what this kid is thinking. Yeah, why don't we go home and talk to our son? Don't tell me he was fooled by that girl in the spur of the moment. Kang Mu was even more worried when she heard it. Say what? Kang Fu snorted helplessly. Your son was fooled. I don't think so. Oh. What do you mean? Kang Mu was slightly stunned. Think about it. Kang Xiaobo is impulsive, but is his good friend an impulsive person? I think this incident was most likely planned by him. He came to stand up for the girl named Xiaofan. Kang Fu understood. This person's family background isn't ordinary. You see, Liu Tianyi and Guan Shuimin know him, and the owner of the resort. So, I think he supports Kang Xiaobo to be together with that girl. As for why, I can't say it now. It's just a guess. Now that you put it that way, I think it's true. Kang Mu also came to a sudden realization. No matter what, let's go home and ask Xiaobo, Donghai City, Ocean View Villa District. Inside a luxurious villa, the Kang family was gathered in the living room. Dr. Kang Lightsai sat in the main seat, looking at his children and grandchildren standing carefully in the room with a dark face. Zhao Ming, where's that pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Dr. Kang looked at Kang Mingming and asked. Kang Mingming was panicking. He carefully took out the dog poop and presented it to Dr. Kang with both hands. Grandpa, the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is here. Dr. Kang nodded and used his hand to pick up the dark brown object in Kang Mingming's hand. He was about to take a closer look when a stench assaulted his face. Dr. Kang almost vomited. What's that smell? Why is it so smelly? Grandpa, this is the smell of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. I was choked by it too. Kang Mingming explained carefully. It's not a scam, is it? Dr. Kang frowned. I don't think that kid is very reliable. Gui Feng, aren't you on good terms with Liu Tianyi? I think Liu Tianyi seems to be very close with that kid today. Go ask him about it. Dr. Kang wasn't very happy when he said this. Liu Tianyi had come to attend his birthday banquet, but left halfway through. Although he was from House Liu, it was still a huge loss of face for Dr. Kang. As for Guan Shuimin, Dr. Kang didn't dare say anything. Guan Shuimin was already giving him face by coming. He knew very well what kind of miracle doctor he was. He was just a fake miracle doctor, while Guan Shuimin was the real deal. Alright, I'll call and ask. Kang Guifeng nodded, took out his phone, and walked to the side to make the call. No one in the room said a word while Kang Guifeng was on the phone. They waited quietly for the result. Hello. Brother Tianyi. I'm Kang Guifeng. Kang Guifeng still wanted to get on Liu Tianyi's good side. House Kang's business in Yangjing relied on the Liu's influence. At the end of the day, Dr. Kang only had a divine prescription. He wasn't a real miracle doctor, so there was no need for these big families to curry favor with them. On the other hand, Dr. Kang's family had to curry favor with these big families for the sake of development. In the eyes of ordinary people, these big families were mysterious existences high above the masses. It wasn't easy for them to even buy a bottle of golden creation, but to these big families, they could buy as much as they wanted. They didn't have to worry about not having enough. Chapter 383. See the results. Oh, it's you, Guifeng bro. I had something urgent to attend to today, so I had to leave at the last minute. I'm very sorry about that, Liu Tianyi said, but he didn't have any intention of apologizing at all. Kang Guifeng was a little displeased, but there was nothing he could do about it. After all, he still had to rely on Liu Tianyi for his military medicine orders. Haha, it's fine, it's fine. Kang Guifeng, however, smiled nonchalantly. Right, Brother Tianyi, let me ask you something. Do you know my nephew's classmate today? Oh, you're talking about Mr. Lin? Of course I know him. Liu Tianyi laughed. Oh, his family. Kang Guifeng wanted to talk about Lin Yi's background. Haha, he's amazing, isn't he? I say, Brother Guifeng, why are you asking this? Liu Tianyi asked faintly. It's nothing, I'm just curious about the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing he gave me today. Brother Tianyi, you seem to know a bit about it. Kang Guifeng probed. That? Haha, it's a good thing. Liu Tianyi could more or less guess what Lin Yi was trying to say. He wanted Dr. Kang's family to regret it, so he didn't mind revealing something that would make them regret it. But he wouldn't say a word about the real thing. Good thing. Does that mean you know something about it, Brother Tianyi? Kang Guifeng's heart skipped a beat. There was no need for Liu Tianyi to lie to him about something like this. Who was Liu Tianyi? He was a member of the Lius. Even if he was close to Lin Yi, there was no way he'd help Lin Yi lie, was there? And so, Kang Guifeng had a vague feeling that the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing really was a good thing. Of course, while Kang Guifeng didn't think he was wrong, his guess was a bit off. If Lin Yi had asked Liu Tianyi to lie for him, Liu Tianyi would have nodded without hesitation. Haha, let's not talk about that. I can't talk about that. Liu Tianyi laughed again. Right, Brother Guifeng, I'm going back to send the old man back to Yangjing. Chem. Tianyi, brother, Elder Liu, isn't he here to see Miracle Doctor? Why did you go back? Guifeng paused. Haha, he's feeling better now. I even got him a courtyard house to grow vegetables in, Tianyi said with a smile. It's done. Guifeng was shocked. Didn't Miracle Dr. Guan say that only long-term acupuncture would work? Hehe, how could I use the old man's body as a joke? If not, I wouldn't dare to send him back. Liu Tianyi smiled and said, well, let's not talk about this first. The old man asked me to accompany him to dance on the dance carpet. Huh? Kang Guifeng almost thought that there was something wrong with his ears. Dance on the dance mat? Old Liu Zhenhu could still play on a dance mat. Even walking would be a problem, right? However, before Kang Guifeng could ask, the phone was hung up. Kang Guifeng sighed and walked back with a gloomy face. How is it? Dr. Kang saw that his son's complexion was a little abnormal, and his heart tightened as he asked hurriedly. I didn't get any answers, but it seems like it's really something good, Kang Guifeng said in a deep voice, but I got an important piece of news. Liu Tianyi's father, Elder Liu, has miraculously recovered and can even play on the dance carpet. What? Dr. Kang's heart almost exploded when he heard his son's words. You're saying that 90-year-old man can play on the dance mat? Really? Dr. Kang had seen Zhenhu's condition before. He was so sick that even walking was difficult, but now he could play on the dance mat. His eyebrows twitched as a bad thought crossed his mind. Could it? Have something to do with the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? I'm guessing so. There's an 80% chance that it's related. Why else would that old fox Liu Tianyi bring this up all of a sudden? Kang Guifeng nodded. That pill of life extension and toxin cleansing might really be something good. I just don't know where Kang Xiaobo's friend got it from. That guy looks like the son of a rich family, so it's not surprising that he could get his hands on some rare items. But this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, is it really the real deal? Dr. Kang picked up the dog poop in his hand in disbelief. How can it work when it's so smelly? Grandpa, as the saying goes, good medicine tastes bitter. I don't think there's any truth to that. Kang Mingming had thought of this before, so he decided to show it off now. He wanted to make up for his mistake, so he tried his best to make himself seem more important. Xiaoming's right. Good medicine tastes bitter. Dr. Kang nodded in agreement. But what you hear from others is just hearsay. You have to verify it yourself to see it for yourself. Grandpa, you mean? Kang Mingming asked. How about this? Cut this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing in half, then swallow it. See if it has any effect. Dr. Kang hesitated for a moment before speaking to Kang Mingming. Ah, me. Kang Mingming thought his grandpa was going to take it himself. He didn't expect it to be him. Why? You don't want to live longer? Dr. Kang glanced at Kang Mingming. Dr. Kang didn't dare to take it himself. After all, he was old and couldn't handle the torment. But Kang Mingming was fine. It's not that. Kang Jiaoming was a little timid. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was supposed to be a good item, but it was just a guess from his family. He didn't dare eat it without a definite conclusion. You're afraid it's poisonous? Miracle Dr. Kang hemphed. Idiot, no matter how stupid Xiaobo is, there's no way he'd send a poisoned pill over. That's murder in front of everyone's eyes. You'd have to spend eternity in jail. Even if this pill isn't the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, it won't have any side effect. Dad, why don't I try it? Kang Tsuepu hesitated for a moment before stepping forward. Kang Mingming was his son. How could he let his son eat something so strange? In the Kang family, Elder Kang was the most important person. Big brother Kang Guifeng and nephew Kang Jiaolong were the most important. On the other hand, he and his son weren't as important. Something like this could only fall to him. The problem was that only the core members of the Kang family knew about this. They couldn't let outsiders try it. If word got out and the great Dr. Kang's family picked up the crushed pill and ate it, wouldn't they laugh their heads off? Chapter 384. Chapter 384, Unexpected Call. Let me do it. Kang Mingming realized that his grandfather's words made sense. He'd been too cautious before, and now that he thought about it, Kang Xiaobo wouldn't send poison over unless he was an idiot. Sending poison was suicide. If something happened to Dr. Kang's family, he'd be the first suspect. And so, Kang Mingming decided to try it himself. He couldn't let it spoil him even if he didn't like it. Letting his father eat it would only make his grandfather look down on him. Kang Xiaobo gritted his teeth and voiced his decision. Kang Mingming's words surprised Dr. Kang a bit. He didn't think that this cowardly grandson of his would be willing to try the medicine on his own. Thus, he said happily, "Good. Jiaoming, Grandpa didn't think that there would be a day when you'd grow up. Don't worry, once we figure out how to make this pill, I'll give you a share of the profit." Kang Mingming was overjoyed. If this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was a success, the profits wouldn't be any less than the golden creation. It was a great thing for him to be able to own a share of the company. In the third generation of House Kang, even the outstanding Kang Jiaolong didn't have a share. Kang Mingming was overjoyed at the thought that he'd be the first. Kang Mingming's father, Kang Tsuepu, was surprised by his son's courage and insight as well. He didn't think that his son's decision would bring him such great profits and benefit. Even Jiaolong was looking at his brother with jealousy. In House Kang, Kang Mingming had always been a cowardly hedonistic young master, so when he did bad things, everyone was used to it. Today, however, he'd suddenly done something sensible. It was a surprise. And so, in his surprise, Dr. Kang gave Kang Mingming this promise: Kang Mingming took the dog poop from Dr. Kang's hands and placed it on the table. He cut it open with a sharp knife and picked up half of it, preparing to swallow it. Ooh! It stinks. Kang Mingming put it to his mouth, almost dying from disgust. Why does it taste the same as dog poop? It's like you said, good medicine tastes bitter, Kang Tsuepu advised. He was also very excited. If his son took the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing and had an effect, then he would be able to get a share of the company. As a father, he would also be proud. Kang Mingming nodded and clenched his teeth. He pinched his nose and closed his eyes, sending half of the dog poop into his mouth. He quickly drank a few mouthfuls of water to suppress the urge to vomit. After a while, he finally caught his breath and let out a long sigh. Phew! I finally ate it. Alright, Zhaoming, don't go out for the next few days. Stay at home and see the effect. Miracle Dr. Kang nodded, turning to Gu Yifeng. Gu Yifeng, seal up the other half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. If the illumination works, send it to the lab and get the ingredients analyze. Yes. Kang Gu Yifeng nodded. Kang Mingming felt his stomach churn after eating the dog poop, but he endured the urge to vomit and went back to his room, lying on his bed. It had to be said that Kang Mingming was quite lucky. The half of the dog poop he took had some pill of life extension and toxin cleansing left on it. It wasn't completely dog poop. Lin Yi naturally didn't know what happened at the Kangs. If he knew that Kang Mingming had picked up the dog poop as the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, and had even eaten half of it, he'd probably be laughing his head off. In Xuemin's house, Lin Yi told Kang Xiaobo about the medical company. But while Kang Xiaobo was excited, he was also worried. After all, he had no experience in business management. Though he didn't want to give up this great opportunity, Kang Xiaobo wasn't an idiot. He knew the consequences of messing around. Boss, I don't know anything about business management. You have to let me learn. After the excitement, Kang Xiaobo regained his composure. He was an impulsive person, but after that, he could calmly consider the problem. During the fight on the rooftop and Xiaofen's incident, Kang Xiaobo had displayed his impulsive personality. But after that, he was able to calm down and consider the pros and cons. Kang Xiaobo's words put Lin Yi in a difficult position. Xuemin was a scholar, so he naturally didn't have any experience in business management. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't have any experience in assassination. Now, Kang Xiaobo's words weren't unreasonable. He didn't have any relevant experience either. At that moment, Lin Yi finally understood that some things were too simple. You couldn't start a company just because you had a prescription. However, Lin Yi didn't want him to participate in the operation of the company if he wasn't trustworthy. First of all, Lin Yi was a secret. Lin Yi didn't want to expose himself in front of the public and let everyone know that the prescription came from him. After all, Lin Yi was still in the middle of a mission. It wasn't appropriate for him to be distracted by other things. Little Yi, my idea is to find a trustworthy professional manager. As for me, I mainly want to be a vice president in name or a director of research and development. I just need to cooperate with the publicity, Xuemin suggested. As for the company, we can let Xiaobo and Xinxin be the company's directors. They will only participate in the decision-making and not the operation. That's not a bad idea. The key is to find a trustworthy manager, Lin Yi nodded, but this person is not so easy to find. This is urgent. Xuemin shook his head, I'll ask someone else. Just like that, the matter was temporarily put on hold. Lin Yi drove Kang Xiaobo out of Xuemin's villa. He wanted to send him home directly, but Kang Xiaobo said that he wanted to go to a bookstore to buy some business management book. Although it was a bit of a last-minute effort, Lin Yi was glad that Kang Xiaobo had the intention. He was afraid that Kang Xiaobo wouldn't work hard. As long as he was willing to work hard, everything would be fine. Lin Yi sent Xiaobo to the bookstore, but didn't go up with him. He went straight back to Meng Yao's villa. It had been 2 days since he left, and he wondered if the miss was still mad at him. He'd told Meng Yao that he'd be accompanying Xiaobo to his second grandpa's birthday banquet, and Meng Yao hadn't said anything about it, but who knew if Yu Shu was trying to drive a wedge between them? When he was almost home, Lin Yi's phone rang. He thought it was Kang Xiaobo or Tang Yun, But when he saw the caller ID, he couldn't help but freeze. Chapter 385. Chapter 385. Wang Xinyan's family. Lin Yi paused. Wasn't Wang Xinyan supposed to go to Yangjing to take care of the funeral? Why was she calling him? Was she back already? It couldn't be. How many days had it been? It hadn't even been a week. Lin Yi was a bit confused, but he picked up anyway. Hello, but when he picked up the phone, the call was cut off. What was the meaning of this? Did she call the wrong number? Or was it something else? Lin Yi hesitated for a moment before calling back. It was the first time Xinyan had called him, after all, and he couldn't just ignore it. I'm sorry, the number you have dialed is either powered off or out of service. Please try again later. The robotic voice told Lin Yi that the other party's phone had been turned off. Lin Yi frowned. Could it be that Xinyan was about to call him, and her phone ran out of battery? Lin Yi shook his head and put the phone back in his pocket. There was nothing Lin Yi could do if he couldn't reach her. He was a little worried, but the two were strangers who'd met by chance, and Xinyan was far away in Yangjing. Lin Yi didn't even know where she was. In a luxurious mansion in Yangjing, a man with a fierce look on his face snatched Xinyan's phone from her hands and smashed it on the ground, stomping on it a couple of times. Stupid girl, are you trying to call someone over? I didn't think you'd have a phone on you. Good thing I didn't go too far to keep an eye on you. IDVE ruined everything. Xinyan looked at the phone that had been stomped on and raised her head coldly. I'm your cousin, and this is how you're going to treat me. Cousin? Temph, spit out the Xiao family's assets first. The man hemphed. Grandpa's married you off to someone else in his will. Don't even think about leaving this room before he comes with a betrothal gift. After saying that, the man closed the door with a bang, and then the sound of the door being locked could be heard. Xinyan sighed helplessly. She wouldn't have come back if she'd known that the Xiao family was in such dire straits. Not only were her parents under house arrest, but she herself was engaged to a man she didn't even know because of her grandfather's will. It wasn't until she arrived at the Xiao family that Xinyan realized that the Xiao family wasn't as glamorous as it looked on the outside. The two uncles were fighting over the inheritance, but the Xiao family was already strong on the outside. His grandfather had Alzheimer's disease. In the last few years of his life, he signed a few stupid contracts. Not only did he cause the company to lose a lot of money, but he also owed a lot of debt. Even if he sold the company now, it would be enough to pay off the debt. The two uncles, who were originally fighting over the family property, surprisingly united again after finding out the amount of the family property. Now that he couldn't even pay his debts, how could he snatch the family's property? What property was there to fight over? All that was left were the properties that Elder Xiao had bought when he was still alive, but the number of properties could be counted with one's fingers. There wasn't much point in fighting over it, so they could just split it evenly. In the eyes of ordinary people, these villas and properties were already worth thousands of dollars. They could live a well-off life just by relying on the rent. However, for the two Xiao brothers who were used to living a lavish life, it was unbearable. And so, they turned their attention to their sister, Wang Xinyan's mother, Xiao Qinlin, who had left home for many years. Their reason was simple and shameless. Elder Xiao had given them 50,000 kuai for travel expenses when Qinlin ran away from home to elope with Wang Xinyan's father, Wang Shuban. This 50,000 kuai was said to be Wang Shuban's investment in his company, and now they wanted him to pay it back with interest. Of course, other than Elder Xiao's will, the Xiao brothers also had a promissory note, written by Qinlin all those years ago. Back then, Old Man Xiao had given Xiao Qinlin 50,000 yuan for the sake of his daughter, even though Xiao Qinlin had broken up with her family and eloped with Wang Shuban. No matter what, she was still his daughter, and he couldn't treat her badly. But Qinlin had let her emotions get the better of her. Since she had broken off with the Xiao family, she naturally wouldn't take the Xiao family's money for free. She had written a promissory note to Elder Xiao, saying that she'd pay it back with interest when she became rich. Elder Xiao didn't expect his daughter to pay it back, either. He merely laughed it off and told his eldest son, Xiao Ji, to throw the note away. Xiao Ji, however, was careful and hid the note. After Elder Xiao's death, the note became evidence that the Xiao brothers were trying to blackmail Qinlin. With the note and Elder Xiao's will, There was nothing Qinlin could do, no matter how angry she was. Who told her to write that note all those years ago? Of course, that wasn't the most infuriating thing. The most infuriating thing was that Elder Xiao had found a husband for Xinyan in his will. Wasn't it a little too early for a 12th grader to get engaged? The Xiao brothers were very cocky, saying that if Qinlin didn't hand over the 20% of their company's shares, they'd see it in court. They'd let the public see that Elder Xiao's daughter didn't care about his body after his death, and was even trying to steal her brother's asset. In all honesty, who was the one trying to steal whose assets? Qinlin had decided to break off with her family for love, but she was still a filial person. She wouldn't have been able to put down everything she had on hand to handle Elder Xiao's funeral otherwise. Naturally, Lin Yi didn't know what was going on with the Xiao family, but even if he did know, he wouldn't know how to intervene. Family matters like this were the hardest to solve. Lin Yi returned to the villa to see Meng Yarou and Yushu digging something in the yard, each holding a small shovel. Yushu's face was covered in dirt, and Meng Yao's clothes were a little dusty, but her face wasn't as bad as Yushu's. Lin Yi parked the car in the yard and got out. He looked at the two curiously. Yao, Shu, what are you guys doing? Oh, Shield bro, you're back? We're digging for treasure, come help me and Yao. We're so tired. Yushu waved happily at Lin Yi when he came back. Shu, what did you call him for? Meng Yarou glared at Yushu and lowered her voice. What if he sees us? Don't you feel embarrassed? Chapter 386. Treasure hunt in the yard, yeah. Meng Yarou couldn't help but feel tempted by Yushu's words. It was true that the key was in Shu's hands, and Lin Yi wouldn't be able to open the chest even if he managed to dig it out. Maybe we should let him try while we rest. I'm a little tired, what about you? I'm a little tired too. Let's get Shield bro to try then. Yushu wouldn't have been so happy to see him come back if she wasn't tired, calling him over so urgently. Yeah, you call him then. Meng Yarou nodded. We don't know when we'll find it if we keep digging like this. That's right. We don't even know where it's buried. The map we drew when we were kids isn't working at all. Yushu wiped the sweat off her forehead, and a few more mud marks appeared. You're still talking about it. Look at that stupid map you drew. It'd be a miracle if we could find it. Meng Yarou waved the map in her hand. I said it'd be fine, I'd be able to find it, my ass. Alright, Yao, let's not talk about me. I was only 8 years old back then. It's already pretty good that I could draw something like this. Yushu took the map back embarrassedly before pulling on Meng Yao's arm. Don't touch me. Ah. Meng Yarou realized that Yushu had left a few mud marks on her arm. What's up? Lin Yi locked the car door and walked over to see Yushu and Meng Yarou whispering to each other. He didn't know what they were talking about. Lin Yi, help us dig for treasure, Meng Yarou said as she handed the Luoyang shovel to Lin Yi. Dig for treasure? Lin Yi's eyes went wide as he rubbed his ears, wondering if there was something wrong with his hearing. Where? Over here. Yushu pointed at the ground in the yard. In the villa's yard. Lin Yi blinked. You're not kidding, are you? How could there be treasure in this villa's yard? Did you two watch too many movies? This villa was only built about 10 years ago. How could there be treasures? Of course, Yushu was about to say we buried it when Meng Yarou stopped her. If we say there is, then there must be. Meng Yarou glared at Yushu. She couldn't tell Lin Yi that they were the ones who buried the treasure. What if Lin Yi dug it out and took a peek? All right. Lin Yi looked at the two girls' strange expressions and could only nod. Anyway, if the miss asked him to dig, he would dig. It didn't take much effort. Where should we dig? It's in this courtyard. Dig as you see fit. Other than the Luoyang shovel, Meng Yarou also had some simple pickaxes and ropes. Shield bro, here's another treasure map, Yushu said as she handed the treasure map she drew when she was young to Lin Yi. Take a look at it. Okay. Lin Yi nodded as he took the map and got to work. Meng Yarou rolled her eyes at Yushu helplessly and pulled her a few steps away. Are you stupid? How could you give that map to Lin Yi? Oh. It's fine, I'm the one who's embarrassed, I drew it. Yushu didn't care at all. I thought it'd be easier for him to find it with a map. He'd have no clue at all. You're the one who's embarrassed, yes, But giving Lin Yi a treasure map. Isn't that telling him that we're the ones who buried the treasure? Meng Yarrow said helplessly. What if he sees what's in there? Can you afford to lose face like that? I can you? Yushu nodded. Meng Yarrow wanted to stomp Yushu to death. You can, but I can't. Hey, it's fine, Yarrow Yao. Don't forget that we have the key. Yushu waved the key in her hand. All right. Meng Yarrow didn't have a choice. She couldn't just ask for the map back, could she? Yarrow Yao, don't think so much. Shield Bro isn't the type to peep into other people's privacy. He wouldn't open it if he saw a lock. Yushu comforted. Meng Yarrow nodded. Indeed, Lin Yi didn't seem to be the type to peep into other people's privacy. She and Shu lived upstairs, but Lin Yi hadn't gone up even once. Leaving General Weiwu there seemed to be an unnecessary move. Meng Yarrow and Yushu went back to the villa to rest. They'd been digging for a long time. They'd been digging for the whole afternoon yesterday, starting right after Lin Yi left. Today, they'd been digging for the whole day. Both of them were covered in sweat and dirt. Yushu was in a worse state, with mud marks all over her face. The first thing they did was to rush to the bathroom on the second floor to take a shower and change their clothes. Lin Yi waited for the two to leave before picking up the map Yushu gave him. He almost fell to the ground when he saw it. Was this a map? Was there anyone more retarded than this? On the map, there was a drawing of a dog. From the looks of it, it should be a smaller version of General Weiwu. Maybe it was the dog's younger self? Next to General Weiwu was a sandbag, and opposite the sandbag were two school bags. The location of the treasure was in the middle of these three things. Triangulation was quite accurate, but where would Lin Yi find these things now? General Weiwu was alive, and it could move. The sandbag had been tossed thousands of miles away, and these two school bags should be Meng Yarrow and Yushu's, right? Maybe they were broken and thrown away. Lin Yi was speechless. Only Yushu could draw a treasure map like this. It was too awesome. No wonder they couldn't find anything even with the map. It was as good as not having it. Young Miss had really arranged a difficult task for him. Lin Yi frowned as he looked at the treasure map. He didn't move immediately. Lin Yi didn't have the time to turn every inch of the yard upside down. He had to think of a shortcut. Lin Yi threw away the Luoyang shovel in his hand. He didn't know where these two girls got such a rare thing. Did they watch too many TV dramas? They weren't going to rob a grave, so why did they get a Luoyang shovel? A shovel was more than enough to dig in one's own yard. Of course, Lin Yi didn't know that this Luoyang shovel was obtained by Forbert after a lot of effort. The miss called him to ask for a Luoyang shovel. Forbert asked her what she was going to do, and she said she was digging for treasure. Forbert didn't dare to ask too much. What if it was a secret? So he used his connections and finally got a Luoyang shovel. Chapter 387. You, come here. You, come here. Lin Yi made a hand signal to General Weiwu. He wasn't sure if General Weiwu could understand it, but Lin Yi's hand signal could only be understood by a trained hound. But General Weiwu seemed to be very smart, and it was trained as well. Lin Yi's hand signal made it run over immediately. General Weiwu was afraid of Lin Yi, but it didn't dare to show it. It could only pretend to be happy. It felt like Lin Yi was going to kill it and eat it at any time. Lin Yi brought General Weiwu to the yard, and without a word, he placed the treasure map Yushu drew in front of General Weiwu. He pointed at the map and smiled coldly. General Weiwu felt a chill from the bottom of its heart, and its fur stood up. The feeling of being killed and eaten was even worse. But General Weiwu didn't dare to run away. It was sure that if it ran, Lin Yi would be able to catch up to it, and its ending would be even worse. And so, General Weiwu looked at the treasure map in Lin Yi's hand nervously. It felt familiar, and it understood what Lin Yi meant. He had to admit that this dog was quite smart. Lin Yi saw that General Weiwu understood him, and he didn't say anything else. He just sat there and played with the Luoyang shovel. General Weiwu was sweating profusely, afraid that if Lin Yi didn't like it, he would chop off its head with the shovel. It quickly got up and started to search the yard. Of course, it didn't dare to walk too fast in order to not let Lin Yi misunderstand. What if Lin Yi misunderstood and thought that it was running away? General Weiwu's actions surprised Lin Yi as well. This dog wasn't as simple as it seemed. It really understood what he meant. It even knew his threat. Was it a transmigrator? However, General Weiwu quickly stopped at a spot and used its claws to dig the soil. Then, it called out to Lin Yi. Lin Yi nodded. He just wanted to give it a try, but he didn't expect General Weiwu to be so helpful. He found it so quickly. Lin Yi used the Luoyang shovel in his hand to dig. Not long after, there was a crisp ding sound. Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't expect to find it so easily. Satisfied, Lin Yi nodded at General Weiwu, signaling it to go back. Then, Lin Yi dug out the treasure chest. The surface of the treasure chest was covered in rust. Although it could be seen that it was a very good iron chest, it had been corroded for too long. There was also a small lock on top of it, but it had been corroded to the point that it was broken. It was useless. When was this buried? Meng Yaro and Yu Shu couldn't have buried it, could they? Thinking about the treasure map, it was possible. Lin Yi was a little speechless as he opened the treasure chest. If there was a lock on top of the treasure chest, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't break the lock, but now that the lock was broken, Lin Yi naturally opened the treasure chest. Inside the treasure chest was an oiled paper bag. Although the outside of the treasure chest was covered in rust, and even the lock on top of the treasure chest was corroded and broken, the inside of the treasure chest was well made. It had a waterproof layer and rubber pad, and after so many years, it was only a little wet. The oiled paper inside didn't show any signs of corrosion. From the looks of it, the price of this treasure chest shouldn't be cheap. However, for the two young ladies, it was nothing. Lin Yi took out the oiled paper bag and opened it casually. He realized that the layers inside were very tight. Not only was there oiled paper, there was also a plastic sheet. After opening the outer packaging, there were two small bags inside. Lin Yi was a little surprised. Was this the so-called treasure? Lin Yi was just about to open one of the sachets when he heard a sudden scream from behind, scaring Lin Yi so much that he almost dropped the sachet in his hand. Lin Yi turned around to see Meng Yaro running towards him with a towel wrapped around her. The hem of the towel fluttered in the wind, revealing a pair of smooth, jade-like legs. Although he couldn't see it clearly, Lin Yi couldn't help but gulp down a mouthful of saliva. Meng Yao's body was tall and well-proportioned. Although she wasn't as voluptuous as Yu Shu, her figure was still 1 in 100. Lin Yi wouldn't take the initiative to peek at the miss, but there was no harm in looking at her when she was right in front of him. Meng Yaro suddenly realized where Lin Yi was looking at. Her face reddened as she snatched the sachet from Lin Yi's hands. Shameless. She turned around and walked quickly back into the villa, but this time she didn't dare run. She walked fast, but she moved slowly with small, quick steps. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. It was over. He'd left a bad impression on the miss. But, in all honesty, it was the miss who'd run away fast and let him see it. It wasn't like he'd seen it on his own accord. He went back to the living room dejectedly. Meng Yaro and Yu Shu were already upstairs. Lin Yi was a little speechless. He'd done something good, and now he'd ruined it. He was helping them dig for treasure, and they were calling him shameless. Man, peeping wasn't good either. After a while, Meng Yaro and Yu Shu came down from upstairs. The two had already changed into tight pajamas, and Lin Yi couldn't see anything. But Lin Yi felt wronged. Meng Yaro wore shorts sometimes. Didn't that expose even more of her body? He only felt that the hazy feeling was a little exciting, but he didn't see anything at all. Looking at Meng Yao's face, Lin Yi quickly sat down and pretended that it had nothing to do with him as he prepared to watch TV. Ahem. Meng Yaro saw that the guy didn't seem to realize what he'd done. She got even angrier and glared at Lin Yi after coughing twice. It's the miss. What's up? Lin Yi raised his head and looked at Meng Yaro carefully, pretending that he'd just seen Meng Yaro coming down the stairs. It couldn't be helped. It was his fault for peeping at her. Shield bro, Yaro's going to scold you. Be careful. Yu Shu winked at Lin Yi. But the solemn atmosphere disappeared with Yu Shu's interference. Meng Yaro was about to explode. This Yu Shu was here to mess things up. This girl probably liked Lin Yi and was helping him out, but Lin Yi was too shameless. She had to give him a warning. And so, Meng Yaro pretended not to hear Yushu's words. She stared at Lin Yi sternly. Lin Yi, do you know what a follower should do? I know. I shouldn't look at things I shouldn't. Lin Yi nodded. Chapter 388. Chapter 388, Past Wishes but. I saw it by accident, it's not my fault. Lin Yi said, feeling wronged. How could he be blamed for this? By accident. Who are you trying to fool? Meng Yao's eyes were wide open. There's a lock on the chest, how could you have seen it if you hadn't opened it? What? Lin Yi's eyes were wide open as well. Chest? You're talking about a chest? If it wasn't a chest, then what did you think it was? Meng Yaro wasn't happy with Lin Yi's act. I thought. You were talking about your thighs. Lin Yi said, sweating. Thighs? Meng Yao's face reddened. Don't change the topic, it was an accident. I'm talking about why you broke the lock on the chest. Don't you know that it's immoral to peek at someone else's privacy? Had it been someone else, Meng Yaro would have thought that the lock might have been broken by someone else, but Lin Yi had pulled down the iron bars of the storeroom in the villa's backyard with ease, saving Yushu. Breaking a small lock was a piece of cake for Lin Yi. It wasn't her thighs. As long as it wasn't. Lin Yi let out a long sigh of relief. It seemed that Meng Yaro wasn't going to pursue the matter any further, and that made Lin Yi feel relieved. As for the lock on the chest, Lin Yi didn't think much of it. I didn't break the lock, it's been corroded for years, and the chest can be opened directly. Really? Meng Yaro blinked at Lin Yi's explanation. Really? You can go see for yourself if you don't believe me. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Ah! Meng Yaro panicked after listening to Lin Yi's explanation. Lin Yi had no reason to lie to her. After all, he only needed to go out and take a look to know the result. Before Meng Yaro could say anything, Yushu ran out and came back not long later with a broken lock in her hand. Yaro, look, it's really the lock that's corroded, it's not Shield Bro's doing. I told you before, Shield Bro isn't that kind of person. Little Shu. Which side are you on? Meng Yaro was a little pissed off at Yushu's words. Why don't you hide it and destroy the evidence? Oh. Should I throw it away now? Yushu asked weakly. Meng Yao's face reddened when she realized that Lin Yi was still there. I'm just saying, I'm just joking. Come on, let's go upstairs. Okay. Yushu nodded and smiled at Lin Yi. Then, she went upstairs with Meng Yaro. Lin Yi didn't know what was going on. Was the meeting over just like that? The miss didn't want to cause trouble for him anymore. Lin Yi didn't think that things would end so easily. What a surprise. Shu, you've made me lose face. You brainless girl, tell me, did you help Lin Yi on purpose? Meng Yaro was very furious after all this, it was all her fault. She wanted to yell at Lin Yi, but couldn't bring herself to do so. No, I'm just telling the truth. Yushu said innocently. Yaro, do you want me to lie? Didn't you always tell me that lying kids are bad? Meng Yaro waved her hand helplessly when Yushu changed the topic. It's fine, let's go upstairs. Okay, I want to see what wishes I wrote when I was young. I forgot. Yushu said excitedly as she ran upstairs. Which of these 2 sachets is yours? Meng Yaro asked as she looked at the 2 pouches in her hands. She couldn't tell who belonged to whom. It was way too long ago, or else she would have remembered where she buried it. I don't know. Let's open one each. It's been a long time, anyway. We can see what wishes we made back then. Yushu said. All right then. Meng Yaro nodded after some hesitation. She didn't want Yushu to find out about her secret. The girl wasn't very trustworthy. She'd probably spread the news to Lin Yi the moment she found out. That'd be so embarrassing. But thinking about it, it was a long time ago, and she couldn't even remember what she'd written. Even if Lin Yi found out, it was just a childhood fantasy, and it didn't matter. And so, Meng Yaro and Yushu each picked up a pouch and opened it. The pouches were sewn together with thin thread, and the 2 of them weren't in the mood to open them bit by bit. Yushu, who couldn't wait any longer, took out a pair of scissors and cut off the thread before opening the pouch. Hey, I'll open it first and see whose it is, Yushu said with a smile. The paper was a little yellowed, and the handwriting was old, but it was still very clear. My wish is to live with Shu for the rest of my life, and be happy forever. This was evidently Meng Yao's handwriting, and Meng Yao listened to Yushu's words in surprise. She didn't think that she'd been this close with Shu since they were kids. Yao, I'm so touched. Yushu was a carefree person, but she couldn't help but feel touched when she read the contents of the paper. Her eyes reddened, and tears were about to fall. H, now you know how good I am to you. Meng Yao took the scissors and opened the pouch in her hand. Needless to say, this was Yushu's. My wish is to marry Yao, and be with her for the rest of my life. Her. Meng Yao's eyes widened after reading the contents of the paper. Yushu wanted to marry her? Was there something wrong with her? Was she a lesbian? Her. Yushu paused as well. She didn't think that her wish would be this powerful. Yao, could it be that we were a pair of lesbians back then? Why else would our wishes be the same? Lesbians, my ass. Meng Yao was speechless. What's the same? Far from it. If we're a pair of lesbians, it's you, not me. I'm writing that I want to live with you, that we can live together as sisters. Look at what you wrote. You want to marry me. You're the one with the problem. Chapter 389. Don't forget the video. Yushu was deep in thought, blushing when Meng Yao interrupted her. You're not thinking about something unhealthy again, are you? Nope. Yushu shook her head, her thoughts exposed. Then why are you blushing? Meng Yao didn't quite believe her. I just feel like my old wish is a little hard to fulfill. Hehe, but I've decided to change it. Yushu said. I've decided to marry the same man with Yao, so we can live together forever. Meng Yao sweated. Why do you still remember that wish? It was close to evening when an annoying visitor came to the villa. Lin Yi didn't think that Jian Wen would have the balls to come knocking on his door again. Hadn't he been beaten up enough last time? But, looking at the smile on his face, Lin Yi almost thought that the guy had lost his memory after being beaten up. Brother Lin, I'm really sorry about last time. I didn't think we'd part on such bad terms after a meal. It's my fault. I haven't been back to Songshan for years. I don't know the situation here. Never mind, let's not talk about last time. Are you free tonight? I have a few bros who admire you, Brother Lin, and want to have a few drinks with Brother Lin. Jian Wen smiled at Lin Yi. Lin Yi looked at Jian Wen oddly. This guy couldn't be thinking of ways to get back at him after what happened last time, could he? This guy was really impatient. He came to seek revenge so soon. Lin Yi turned to Meng Yao, asking for her opinion. Meng Yao, naturally, knew that Jian Wen was up to no good. If this guy wasn't amnesiac, he wouldn't have forgotten that Lin Yi had just beaten him up, would he? The band-aid on his forehead was proof of that. Jian Wen bro, is there something wrong with your heart? Yushu looked at Jian Wen, surprised. Jian Wen didn't know what to say. Shu, what are you talking about? I don't understand. It's nothing, I just think you're looking for trouble. Yushu didn't care about Jian Wen's face at all. Jian Wen was a little pissed at Yushu, but he didn't dare say anything. 1. He was worried about his image in front of Meng Yao, and 2. He really couldn't afford to piss off this girl. Yao my. Today I want to thank my savior. You don't mind lending me your bodyguard, right? Jian Wen smiled as he looked at Meng Yao. He emphasized the word bodyguard on purpose, implying that he already knew that Lin Yi was his bodyguard. Meng Yao frowned, but the fact that Lin Yi was hired by her dad wasn't a secret. Many people in the company knew about it, and Jian Wen wouldn't be able to hide it from him if he wanted to. She didn't want to make a fuss about Lin Yi. It's nighttime now, I can't control what he wants to do. Speaking of which, Meng Yao was still a little pissed off because of what happened in the afternoon. She couldn't vent her anger, so she was more than happy to see Jian Wen cause trouble for Lin Yi. Although it was foreseeable that Jian Wen would get beaten up again, Meng Yao didn't want Lin Yi to have it easy. She wanted him to do some work, and it'd help relieve some of the anger in her heart. Haha, Brother Lin, your boss has agreed to it. What do you think? Give me some face. Jian Wen smiled as he looked at Lin Yi. Alright, let's go then. Lin Yi nodded. Since Meng Yao had put it that way, he might as well go teach the kid a lesson. A shield had to have the awareness of a shield, after all. He couldn't just take his salary for free, could he? Let's go then, Mr. Lin. Jian Wen was overjoyed when he heard that Lin Yi had agreed. Meng Yarou and Lin Yi's guess was right. He was here to get back at Lin Yi today. Jian Wen was pissed off after being tricked by Lin Yi last time, especially since the one who beat him up was Zihua, the person he was supposed to cooperate with. There was no way he could vent his anger. So, if Jian Wen didn't teach Lin Yi a lesson, the latter would think that he was a pushover. Of course, Jian Wen couldn't do anything to Lin Yi in broad daylight. After all, he was inviting Lin Yi to dinner from Meng Yao's place. He couldn't be too obvious, or Meng Yarou would think that he was petty. Jian Wen's idea was that since Lin Yi had tricked him once, he'd tricked him once as well. He'd let Lin Yi suffer in silence. Lin Yi stood up and followed Jian Wen out of the villa. When he reached the door, he heard Yushu calling him from behind. "Shield bro, video. Don't forget." Lin Yi nodded with a bitter smile. Jian Wen, who was walking in front of him, almost fell to the ground. So Lin Yi had recorded him last time? Didn't Meng Yarou see it too? Fuck, he'd make a fool of himself. No wonder Meng Yarou was looking at the bandage on his forehead with a weird expression today. So she already knew about it. This Lin Yi, he'd make a fool of himself this time. But this time, he'd be the one making a fool of himself. Didn't Yushu want to record it? Fine, he'd fulfill his wish. He'd record it for her to see. With that thought, Jian Wen calmed down a little. A smile appeared on his face as he acted like he didn't understand. "Shu lil sis, don't worry. I'll get a professional videographer to record the drinking competition later." Yushu didn't say anything. She only frowned as she waited for Lin Yi and Jian Wen to leave the villa. Yarou, Jian Wen seems pretty confident this time. Who knows? He looked pretty confident last time. Meng Yarou curled her lips. Compared to Lin Yi, she hated Jian Wen more. That's true. I hope Shield Bro can give us another surprise this time. Hihi, I'd like to see how Jian Wen gets unlucky this time. Yushu nodded. From Jian Wen's words, Lin Yi could tell what he was planning. Drinking competition? Could it be that this guy wants to get me drunk and then do something? But, getting himself drunk? Was that even possible? Lin Yi smiled faintly as he followed behind Jian Wen. "Mr. Lin, we're not going home until we're drunk. Let's not drive, okay? Otherwise, we won't be able to drive back." Jian Wen was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't drink so much if he drove. His plan would fail then. "Alright, we'll take your car then." Lin Yi didn't mind. He could take a taxi back if he didn't drive. Chapter 390. No going home. We didn't get to enjoy ourselves last time. We made a small mistake. This time, we're going to enjoy ourselves to the fullest. Jian Wen pointed at a black Rolls-Royce. "Get in, please." Lin Yi nodded and got in. The car started moving slowly after Jian Wen got in. It seemed that Jian Wen had already booked a hotel and was just waiting for Lin Yi's approval. The location this time was still Starlight Hotel, and it seemed that Jian Wen could pick himself up from wherever he fell. The room was the same as last time, but there were a few more people here. Other than Taizao, there was also the feminine-looking man from before, and a fatty who looked like a Metria Buddha. All three of them stood up when they saw Jian Wen enter, evidently looking to Jian Wen as their leader. "Mr. Lin, you're here." Taizao walked over and held Lin Yi's hand passionately, but there was a flash of venom in his eyes. He wasn't going to let that go so easily after getting beaten up by Jian Wen and him. "Haha, Su bro, what's wrong with your forehead?" "Tchem. I saw a band-aid on an bro's head as well. Don't tell me you two were playing headbutt and bumped into each other." Lin Yi had been with Yushu for a long time now, and his way of speaking was a bit like Yushu's. Lin Yi couldn't help but blush with embarrassment at his imaginations. He could imagine the two of them arching their backs and using all their strength to bump into each other. Taizao sweated profusely, feeling even more pissed off. Who the hell would bump their heads into each other? Unless they were brainless. "Why's there a band-aid on your head? Don't you know what's going on?" But he was here to get Lin Yi to drink with him. This wasn't the time for a fight. Taizao could only suppress his anger and smile. "I bumped into the door by accident, haha. Come, let's not talk about this. Please have a seat, Mr. Lin. Let me introduce you to these two brothers." Lin Yi nodded and sat down. Tai Zhao started introducing the feminine-looking man and the fatty Metria Buddha. The feminine-looking man was Gang Lu, and the fatty Metria Buddha was Tai Wei. Gong Lu's family was in the foreign trade business, and Tai Wei was Tai Zhao's cousin. "I'm very happy to meet you today, Mr. Lin," Tai Wei said. "Jian Wen bro, I heard that you're Jian Wen bro's savior. I'll call you Brother Lin since I'm a bit older than you are. Let's drink till we're drunk, shall we?" "All right." Lin Yi nodded. "Ah." Tai Wei paused. According to Jian Wen and Tai Zhao's plan, Lin Yi wouldn't fall for it so easily, and wouldn't go home until he was drunk. After all, who wouldn't go home until they were drunk with their enemies? And so Tai Wei had come up with a bunch of words to persuade Lin Yi, with Jian Wen and Gang Lu helping out as well. Gang Lu was the strategist of the younger generation of House Su, and he had a pretty good brain and a belly full of bad ideas. He was the one who'd come up with the plan today. After a bit of planning, they decided to trip Lin Yi up in the drinking. It'd be best if they could get him into the hospital, but even if he couldn't, they'd still have to record him when he was drunk. But this was all a scheme, not a fight in the open. Meng Yaro wouldn't say anything even if she found out about it, and Jian Wen was quite confident. But Lin Yi's reaction was out of everyone's expectations. Lin Yi agreed to it without hesitation after Tai Wei's one sentence, leaving them a little dumbfounded. Tai Wei felt like there was a fishbone stuck in his throat, and he couldn't use the words he'd prepared at all. He'd wanted to wait for Lin Yi to reject him, and then give a long speech of reasoning and persuasion, but there was no need for that at all. Lin Yi smiled at everyone's shocked faces. "Haha, you guys know that I'm the Miss Follower, and I don't get to drink at home usually, so I'm a little craving for it." As soon as Lin Yi's words left his mouth, everyone understood. So that was it. But it made sense. Lin Yi was Meng Yao's follower, hired by Peng Zhan. He couldn't be drinking all the time, could he? That wouldn't make sense. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't let go of such a rare opportunity like this. Everyone calmed down at Lin Yi's words. They'd thought that Lin Yi was playing some kind of trick, but it seemed like he'd really decided to get drunk. "Gang Lu, go get a few boxes of beer to quench our thirst, and then bring out the white wine," Jian Wen ordered. Mixing beer and white wine was very easy to get drunk, and it was very harmful to the stomach as well. Too much of it could even cause gastric bleeding or perforation. One had to admit that Jian Wen was a devious bastard, asking for a few boxes of beer to quench his thirst. But Jian Wen's goal was to drink Lin Yi to death, and even if he couldn't, he'd get him drunk and do something for him. Lin Yi looked like he had some alcohol tolerance, but Jian Wen wasn't worried at all. He, Tai Zhao, and Gang Lu were all experts in the art of alcohol. Which one of the 4 young masters of Songshan didn't have amazing alcohol tolerance? Gang Lu, the strategist, was even more so. He'd drink non-stop at home even if no one else was urging him to drink, and he'd chug down a bottle of white wine every time he was about to do something bad. How could an alcoholic like him be measured with common sense? Of course, if the 3 of them still couldn't get Lin Yi drunk, they still had another ace up their sleeve, Su Tai Wei. This kid was a freak of the Su family. He was simply an alcoholic. Not only could he drink, but he was also proficient in all kinds of dangerous drinking methods. For example, he could drink red wine with Sprite, whiskey with iced black tea, beer with Coke, or he could drink red wine, white wine, and beer in turns. He could even drink to death. Others might die instantly after drinking these techniques, but Su Tai Wei had grown up in a wine tank, and his father was in charge of the Su's winemaking business. He was basically an alcoholic tank. With a life-saving trump card like Su Tai Wei, what did Jian Wen have to fear? Soon, a couple of waiters came in with a few boxes of beer printed in English under Gonglo's lead, placing them on the floor. Lin Yi looked at them, a trace of anger flashing through his heart. Weren't these guys a little too much? The beer was of the highest alcohol content. If it weren't for his knowledge, he'd probably be in the hospital right now. Jian Wen had said that he wanted to get a few boxes of beer to quench his thirst, but Gang Lu had ordered the waiters to bring in the high alcohol content tactical nuclear penguin. Chapter 391. Let's change to white Mr. Lin, please. Jian Wen took out a few cans of beer from the box and placed them on the table, turning to Lin Yi. It's summer soon, it's hot. Wanna have some beer to quench your thirst? Drinking beer right off the bat, I don't think you're interested. Lin Yi said disinterestedly. You need to drink with a few people, it's not mineral water, what's there to quench your thirst for? Then let's drink together. Jian Wen thought. Wouldn't it be easy to drink with a few people? We'll drink with you. He raised his glass with that. Cheers to you. I'll drink, it's up to you if you want to. With that, Jian Wen tilted his head back and downed the entire can of beer. The alcohol content of this beer wasn't low, but it wasn't much for a veteran like Jian Wen. Jian Wen's alcohol tolerance was quite high, and he could drink a few bottles of Marotai without a problem. Which of the 4 young masters of Songshan wasn't a big drinker? Plus, Jian Wen had another ace up his sleeve today, Su Taiwei. All right. Lin Yi nodded, mimicking Jian Wen's action as he tilted his head back and placed the empty bottle on the table. Brother Lin, you're a good drinker. Jian Wen praised as he picked up the empty bottle from Lin Yi's table and placed it on the floor, replacing it with an opened can of beer. Jian Wen wanted to check if Lin Yi had really drunk the beer in front of him, and calmed down after confirming that it was empty. Still, he mocked himself for thinking too much. This tactical nuclear penguin beer was rare, and he'd asked a friend to get it from abroad. A country bumpkin like Lin Yi must have thought that it was just some foreign alcohol, since foreign alcohol usually had a lower alcohol content. That was why he'd downed it in one gulp. But that was fine, too. Let the country bumpkin drink as much as he wanted. Everyone would drink a can of beer with him, and then they'd serve white alcohol. It wouldn't take long for Lin Yi to end up in the hospital. This beer tastes good. I've never seen this before. Lin Yi pretended to be curious as he read the words printed on the outside of the beer. That's right. It's expensive wine. Tai Zhao laughed heartily, afraid that Lin Yi would see the alcohol content on the bottle. Let's have another toast, okay? Lin Yi nodded readily. Tai Zhao and Lin Yi finished their cans of beer in one gulp, and Jian Wen nodded to himself. He felt like he'd seen through Lin Yi now. The guy was just a country bumpkin, a little smart, but also a little greedy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come out every time he was asked to eat. The way Lin Yi was drinking made Jian Wen understand the kid probably hadn't had much of a drink before. Now that there was a chance, how could he let it go? Originally, he was still thinking about how to trick Lin Yi and let everyone at the table take turns toasting Lin Yi. But now, there was no need to trick him anymore. What happened next surprised Jian Wen even more. Lin Yi and Tai Zhao drank a can of beer at each other's mouth. They didn't seem to be sated anymore. They poured the empty cans into their mouths before putting them down reluctantly. Lin Yi's reaction was subtle and he didn't say much, but Jian Wen saw it all. He was getting happier and happier. Actually, the taste is just so. There's nothing special about it. Lin Yi said faintly. Jian Wen wanted to laugh out loud at Lin Yi's words. So? Why would you drink so fast? Was it because you didn't want to owe me a favor after drinking? But Jian Wen didn't say that. As far as he was concerned, it didn't matter as long as Lin Yi was admitted to the hospital. Brother Lin, a toast to you as well. Gang Lu stood up and handed Lin Yi another can of beer. Thank you for what you did for Bro that day. Haha, you're welcome. Lin Yi couldn't hide his joy as he took the can of beer from Gang Lu and downed it in one gulp. Wheel tactic. Haha, how creative. Lin Yi was feeling a little disdainful. If it weren't for the fact that he still had to stay in Songshan, Lin Yi wouldn't mind throwing these pieces of trash out of the window. He'd let them experience what it felt like to be a Superman. But now, at least on the surface, Lin Yi wouldn't cause any trouble for him. As a result, Jian Wen and his group's plan was to watch a show. Tai Wei came up after Gang Lu went downstairs, but this time he had 4 cans of beer in his hands. He placed 2 in front of Lin Yi before opening the other 2. Brother, you saved Bro's life. That means you're my Wei Bro's savior. 1 can of beer isn't enough to express my sincerity, so I'll use 2. But Lin brothers, you can do as you please. Lin Yi knew what the guy was thinking with one look. He knew that the beer was up to this point, and that they wouldn't be taking turns to get Lin Yi drunk. He was the last one left, and he had to take advantage of this opportunity. If Wei Bro can do it, then I'll do it too, Lin Yi thought to himself. Who called himself Wei Bro? Wasn't this guy a little too strong? And so, Lin Yi purposefully pronounced the word do it 4 times, Echoing Wei Bro's name, Tai Wei, naturally, could tell that Lin Yi was playing a trick, but he had to drink with Lin Yi, and so he pretended not to hear anything. All right, I'll drink first. 2 cans of beer went down Tai Wei's throat, as if he were drinking water. His face wasn't red, and his heart wasn't beating at all. On the other hand, it was the same for Lin Yi. Jian Wen and Tai Zhao looked at each other, a trace of shock in each other's eyes. It seemed like this Lin Yi kid had some alcohol tolerance. Thank goodness Tai Wei was here, otherwise they really wouldn't be able to do anything to Lin Yi. Seeing that this wasn't going to affect Lin Yi much, Jian Wen gave Gang Lu a look, telling him to move on to the next step of the plan, skipping the beer part. The alcohol content of the beer wasn't low, but it was still a far cry from white wine. Instead of drinking a belly full of beer, they might as well switch it to white wine. What if Lin Yi drank too much beer? It wouldn't be worth it if they didn't drink white wine. Brother Lin, you're a good drinker. I'm impressed. Gang Lu smiled. Looks like Brother Lin's a drinker as well. Why don't we switch to white wine? It'd be boring otherwise. Chapter 392. Into the bottle. Gang Lu wasn't expecting Lin Yi to be this easygoing, pausing as he looked at Jian Wen. Jian Wen wasn't afraid at all. What was there to be afraid of with Tai Wei as his trump card? He was just worried that Lin Yi wouldn't drink it. As long as Lin Yi was willing to drink it, he wouldn't be afraid of dying from it. No wonder Brother Lin didn't drink much last time. He thought that red wine wasn't strong enough. Jian Wen realized. No wonder Lin Yi wasn't happy last time. The guy was pissed that Jian Wen didn't let him drink to his heart's content. Jian Wen had been wondering why Lin Yi would do that to him. He had nothing against Lin Yi, so why would Lin Yi do that to him? Lin Yi was just Meng Yao's bodyguard, not her boyfriend. He was hired by Peng Zhan. All he had to do was take care of Meng Yao's safety. Why would he care if Jian Wen pursued Meng Yao or not? It was even more impossible to say that it was an unintentional grudge from before. If it was, why would Lin Yi save him at the theme park? As a result, Jian Wen couldn't understand why Lin Yi would do something like that to him. After thinking about it, this was the only reason. Lin Yi was here as his savior, and Jian Wen didn't let him drink to his heart's content. Naturally, Lin Yi would be angry, and so he vented a little. What happened last time, on the other hand, was quite a coincidence. Lin Yi didn't know that Sihua was here, and he didn't know that Jian Wen was going to call him miss. It had all happened out of the blue, and there was nothing planned about it. The more it was like this, the more it proved that Lin Yi didn't want to mess with him at all, and that it was an impromptu idea. Of course, Jian Wen had underestimated Lin Yi too much. Lin Yi didn't even need to prepare to kill someone, let alone mess with someone. Ha ha. Lin Yi smiled faintly, as if saying good that you know. Jian Wen looked at Lin Yi's face, and was even more certain that Lin Yi didn't drink properly last time. Gang Lu, get the white wine, Jian Wen ordered. All right, brother An. Yang Gang Lu quickly ran out of the private room and gave a few instructions to the waiter at the door. Because he had instructed the waiter beforehand, Yang Gang Lu didn't need to say anything unnecessary. Not long after Yang Gang Lu returned, the waiter came back with 3 bottles of marotai and a variety of dishes. It was obvious that they had been prepared beforehand. This made Lin Yi feel that Jian Wen wasn't a good person. There wasn't a single dish on the table when they were drinking beer. Although it was to quench his thirst, drinking on an empty stomach was the easiest way to get drunk. These guys probably ate something before, but Lin Yi didn't. Sneering, Lin Yi thought to himself, it seems like these guys don't just want to get me drunk, they want me to drink myself to death. Since that's the case, I'll drink you to death first. Just 3 bottles of marotai? That's not enough, right? Lin Yi said as he looked at the marotai in the waiter's hands. Oh. Jian Wen paused. He didn't want to scare Lin Yi with too much. Baijiu wasn't the same as beer, after all. Many people drank beer while hugging a box, but who drank baijiu while hugging a box? But since Lin Yi said so, Jian Wen went with the flow. Bring a box over. The waiter nodded quickly and went to get the white wine. Gang Lu was about to pour himself a glass when Lin Yi stopped him. Lin Yi waved his hand. It's too troublesome to pour it out, just drink it from the bottle. Drink from the bottle? Jian Wen and Tai Zhao were a little dumbfounded. They'd never heard of white wine being drunk from the mouth. They were experienced drinkers, and it wasn't as if they'd never competed in drinking before, but this was a little scary. But just because Jen Wen and the others hadn't heard of it didn't mean that Tai Wei hadn't. His family was in the wine business, and the people he interacted with were all wine merchants. These people were even drunker than the wine jugs, and it wasn't unheard of for them to drink erguatu at food stalls. In order to deal with these merchants, Tai Wei had to accompany them to all sorts of events, and so he often went to food stalls. Looks like Brother Lin's a master as well. Tai Wei wasn't surprised at all. He had to take Lin Yi seriously as an opponent, but it wasn't to the point of worrying yet. There were so many wine merchants out there, and which one of them wasn't a master drinker? Most of the orders were made by Tai Wei at the table, and so Tai Wei only paid a little more attention to Lin Yi. Alright, looks like Wei Bro is a kindred spirit as well. I'll drink first then. Lin Yi took the initiative this time, opening the lid of the Maro Tai in front of him and downing it in one gulp. What? It wasn't just Jen when even Tai Wei was flabbergasted. White wine could be drunk from a bottle? Wasn't this too magical? Even if Tai Wei usually drank from a bottle with a wine merchant, it was only one sip at a time, and he'd only finish it when there wasn't much left. But drinking it down like beer was something Tai Wei had never seen before. Even so, a feeling of defiance rose from the bottom of his heart. Tai Wei was a publicly acknowledged god of wine in the circle of Songshan's young masters, and now he was being provoked by a nobody that Jen Wen had ordered him to drink into the hospital. How could Tai Wei take that lying down? He couldn't, because he'd turn into a ninja turtle. Tai Wei sneered coldly. A bottle of baijiu wasn't much to him at all, and his limit was around 5 bottles. This bottle was a little rushed, but Tai Wei could accept it. Tai Wei opened the bottle and downed it in one gulp, just like Lin Yi. It was a little rushed, but it didn't affect him much. His face flushed a little before returning to normal. Although Tai Wei looked fine on the surface, his stomach was still feeling pretty bad. Even someone with a high tolerance for alcohol wouldn't feel good if he poured a bottle of baijiu down his throat, even if he didn't have an indestructible body. Good wine, let's try again. Lin Yi tossed the empty bottle aside and picked up another bottle of white wine. Tai Wei wasn't expecting Lin Yi to continue drinking without even resting after one bottle. His face couldn't help but turn a little pale. Let me. Jen Wen frowned. He hadn't expected Lin Yi to be an alcoholic. It seemed like his plan today was going to be a little hard to pull off. As the saying went, an expert's skill would be known the moment he made a move. Nothing happened to Lin Yi after one bottle. Jen Wen understood that Lin Yi really was a drinker. Chapter 393. Chapter 393, Wait Fut. Jen Wen couldn't hold it in any longer. He spat it out and started coughing. Cough, 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 cough. Jen Wen had tears coming out of his eyes from the spiciness of the leak. He'd never drunk alcohol in such a rush before. He had a tolerance, but his stomach and esophagus couldn't take it. Jian Wen's face was white as a sheet as he coughed for a while, with Tai Zhao and Gang Lu patting his back non-stop. It took a while for the color to return to his face. However, under such circumstances, it was impossible for him to continue drinking. Jen Wen looked at Lin Yi with a hint of venom in his eyes. This guy was a wolf in sheep's clothing. He knew how to drink, but he didn't say anything. He wouldn't have used this trick if he'd known. And bro, are you done? Shall we continue? Lin Yi's words almost made Jen Wen cough again. Continue? Did he have a death wish? Jian Wen's face was very ugly, and he wanted to go up and strangle Lin Yi. He was already like this, and the guy was still asking him to drink. Did he want to drink himself to death? He'd forgotten that he was the one who'd wanted to drink Lin Yi to death. Jen Wen was in a difficult situation. He'd come here today to teach Lin Yi a lesson, but he didn't expect to run into Lin Yi's forte. He'd lose all his face if he gave up now, especially when he saw that Lin Yi was still fiddling with his phone. Jen Wen knew that Lin Yi must have recorded everything. In an instant, feelings of humiliation, dissatisfaction, anger, and disgust intertwined and flashed through his heart. No, he couldn't give up. Meng Yarrow would laugh herself to death if he did. He'd wanted to teach Lin Yi a lesson, but he was the one being taught a lesson instead. What would happen to the face of the Songshan young masters if word got out? Especially after being taught a lesson the first time, This was the second time he came to seek revenge. How would Jian Wen feel if he got taught a lesson the second time? Let me do it. Tai Wei knew that Jian Wen wasn't going to be able to hold on much longer as soon as he saw the change in Jian Wen's face. Tai Wei was the one with the best alcohol tolerance here, and if he didn't step up, no one would be a match for Lin Yi. He hoped that Lin Yi could only drink fast, and that his actual alcohol tolerance was not as good as his. Tai Wei calculated inwardly. He had a capacity for 5 bottles, and he didn't believe that Lin Yi could finish 5 bottles in one go and come out unscathed. All right. Lin Yi said straightforwardly. Are you all right? Of course. Tai Wei said with a cold smile. Don't act all high and mighty, let's see if you're still standing after 5 bottles. Do you think you're a roly-poly doll? Oh, sorry, I forgot. You're Wei bro, why can't Wei bro? Lin Yi opened the bottle of baijiu and shook it in front of Tai Wei. Damn it. Tai Wei cursed inwardly as he raised his bottle and started drinking with Lin Yi. Phew. Tai Wei let out a long breath after finishing the second bottle of baijiu. His body felt like it was on fire, and he wanted to eat some food to calm it down, but he couldn't bring himself to do it, because Lin Yi was sitting there with a straight face and a smile on his face, recording himself with his phone. Tai Wei was pissed off, but he couldn't just eat. He could only hold it in. Tai Wei, eat something first, weren't you complaining about being hungry before you came? The food's here now, eat while it's hot. Tai Zhao could tell that his brother wasn't in a good state, and helped him out without a word. Tai Wei quickly glanced at Tai Zhao. Yeah, I came here on an empty stomach, I won't hold back then. With that, Tai Wei picked up his chopsticks and started wolfing down the food. Lin Yi looked at the Tai Wei and Tai Zhao brothers in disdain, but didn't voice it out. Since Wei bro's already impotent. Oh, hungry. Then, Tai Zhao bro, do you want to continue on his behalf? Alright, I'll drink with you. Tai Zhao nodded. But I'm not a good drinker, haha. How about this, you drink it all at once, and I'll drink it in 2 portions. Tai Zhao had seen Jian Wen's pitiful state, and he didn't have Tai Wei's tolerance level. His tolerance level was about the same as Jian Wen's, so he might as well be generous and admit that he couldn't hold his liquor, and drink it in 2 portions instead of making a fool out of himself. Sure, no problem. You can even drink half of it. Lin Yi cursed the Su brothers inwardly for being shameless, but he still said it generously. Tai Zhao's heart almost exploded with regret at Lin Yi's words. He could drink half of it. Why didn't you say so earlier? He wouldn't have to drink it in 2 portions if he had. But as shameless as Tai Zhao was, it wasn't to the point of shamelessness. He couldn't go back on his words now. Lin Yi, on the other hand, downed the bottle of Marotai without a change in his expression, and Tai Zhao drank it in 2 portions. He didn't spit the alcohol out like Jian Wen, but he wasn't much better. He sat there motionlessly, evidently choked by the spiciness. His face was bright red, and there were tears in his eyes. He was trying his best not to cough. Like a statue, he stood there motionless. In fact, Tai Zhao didn't dare move at all. He was afraid that he'd spit the alcohol out if he moved. Wei bro, I don't think your brother can do it. He's not as good as Wei bro. What do you think? Shall we continue? Lin Yi said as he looked at Tai Wei, who was eating as fast as he could. All right, let's continue. Tai Wei nodded as he wiped his mouth. He'd eaten quite a bit just now, and he'd recovered quite a bit. Another bottle shouldn't be a problem for him, but he understood now that Lin Yi's alcohol tolerance was higher than his. After all, Lin Yi had already downed 4 bottles. Lin Yi finished the 5th bottle without any suspense. Tai Wei went to rest, and it was Gang Lu's turn. Gang Lu said shamelessly, I'll drink half of it, I really can't hold my liquor. I'll go first as a sign of respect. With that, Gang Lu raised his bottle and downed half of it, as if he was afraid that Lin Yi would go back on his words. Wait. Gang Lu put down the bottle before Lin Yi could finish. Oh, brother Lin, something's up. Gang Lu thought to himself. That had been a close shave. Lin Yi might have gone back on his words if he'd been 1 step slower. What he'd said to Tai Zhao earlier was probably just to piss him off. There was no way he'd let Tai Zhao off the hook that easily. And so, Gang Lu was very excited at his own cleverness. He was the strategist after all, and there was no point in saying anything else now. What do you want? What can you do? Chapter 394. How should I drink? Is that so? Brother Lin, tell me then. I'll pay attention next time. Gang Lu thought to himself. But it was too late. What I'm trying to say is that you can't hold your liquor well, so you should drink less. It's usually too much, a third is fine. Lin Yi said. What? Gang Lu felt his blood rush to his head, and the alcohol rushed to his head as well. He almost passed out. A third was fine? A third? Why didn't he say that earlier? Why? Jian Wen, Tai Zhao, and Tai Wei were all looking at Gang Lu with sympathy and indignation. It wasn't that Lin Yi didn't have the time to tell him. He could have said it when Gang Lu was drinking. There was no need to wait for him to finish before saying it. One thing was for sure, Lin Yi was toying with Gang Lu. No matter how much Gang Lu drank, Lin Yi would always say something to piss him off. As the saying goes, the onlooker sees the game more clearly than the onlooker. Gang Lu, on the other hand, couldn't see through Jian Wen's ploy. He felt that he was a strategist, someone with superior intelligence, someone who specialized in scheming against people. But in the end, he'd never schemed against Lin Yi. How could he accept this? He didn't need to drink that much, and yet he'd stupidly drank half a bottle. What a strategist. Gong Lo's eyes were seeing stars, and the alcohol kicked in when he got angry, causing him to collapse on the table. Jian Wen frowned. Wasn't this Gong Lo's mental fortitude a little too weak? How was he supposed to be a strategist like this? But everyone else at the table had taken turns drinking with Lin Yi, and the kid had drunk 6 bottles of baijiu already. Why was he still acting like nothing had happened? Did he grow up in a wine vat? But Jian Wen couldn't just let it go. There was no way he was going to stop now that the fight had started. Wouldn't stopping mean he was admitting defeat to Lin Yi? Fuck. Admitting defeat was fine if no one was watching, but Lin Yi was playing with his phone, recording everything that was going on. His image would be ruined if Meng Yaro saw this. Let's continue. Tai Wei gritted his teeth. House Su wasn't like Housen, and they had to rely on Jian Wen for a lot of business. His cousin was one of the Songshan young masters, but his influence was far below Housen's. Housen had some influence in the province, while House Su's was limited to Songshan. Housen had some influence in the province, but House Su's was limited to Songshan. Haha, I was just worried that I wouldn't have an opponent, Lin Yi said as he eyed Tai Wei. The guy was really putting his life on the line. Tai Wei opened a bottle of Marutai, hesitating for a bit before asking. 3. His limit was 5 bottles, but that was limited to drinking slowly and steadily. He wouldn't be able to last much longer if he kept drinking like this. His stomach was hurting, and Tai Wei had no choice but to show his weakness. He wanted to ask Lin Yi if he could drink 1/3 of what he said earlier. But Lin Yi didn't give Tai Wei a chance to speak. Wei bro is the best, not like that weak guy from before. He passed out after drinking half a bottle. Wei bro chugged it down to the bottle. Nothing happened. How else would he call him Wei bro? He'd just call him weak bro. Right. Tai Wei's face was green. Can't you fucking wait until I'm done? Can you? Tai Wei was cursing, but Lin Yi's words had already goaded him to this point. He couldn't bring up the 1/3 thing anymore. Wouldn't that make him weak bro? Tai Wei had no choice but to say, alright, but I didn't drink it in a rush, please forgive me. Haha, it's fine. Lin Yi smiled as he raised the bottle in front of him and downed it in one gulp. Tai Wei sighed. He had no choice but to copy Lin Yi, picking up the bottle and chugging it down one mouthful at a time. He had to change his breath a couple of times in between before finishing the bottle. It seemed like Tai Wei was at his limit now. Tai Wei wanted to cry when he saw that Lin Yi was fine, his face still red and without a hint of tiredness. How the hell did he have to compete in drinking with a psycho like this? He wouldn't have competed in drinking if he'd known this was going to happen, even if he had to compete in eating shit. Should we continue? Tai Wei couldn't take it anymore. He'd downed 4 bottles already, and while 5 was usually his limit, he'd basically throw up afterwards. But he couldn't do that now, and could only hold it in. Not anymore. Lin Yi shook his head, and Tai Wei let out a long sigh of relief. Jian Wen and Tai Zhao, on the other hand, let out a sigh of relief as well. But they were a little weird. Why wasn't Lin Yi continuing? Could he be at his limit as well? That couldn't be. But it was fine as long as he didn't continue. It didn't matter if he was at his limit or if he'd found his conscience. It's good that he's not continuing. There's no point in competing like this anymore. It's so boring drinking bottle after bottle. Tai Wei said in agreement. It is, and that's why I've decided to stop. Lin Yi smiled. Let's play something more interesting, shall we? What's interesting? Tai Wei suddenly felt that something was wrong when he saw that bright smile on Lin Yi's face. Had he been tricked? What was Lin Yi up to? Waiter, bring me some red wine. Lin Yi called out to the door. Oh, red wine? Tai Wei blinked, but was overjoyed. The alcohol content of red wine was far lower than white wine, and he'd be able to hold out for a while if they'd switched to red wine. Tai Wei felt that Lin Yi was probably at his limit as well. He'd had 4 bottles, but Lin Yi had 7. What did 7 bottles of white wine mean? He'd be lucky if he didn't drink himself to death. Perhaps Lin Yi was just putting on a good show, making people think that he was fine. Otherwise, why would he switch to red wine? Tai Wei was afraid that Lin Yi would change his mind again, and quickly called out. Waiter, red wine. Hurry up. Yes, coming. The waiter carried a case of red wine into the room. He'd had experience with beer and white wine before, so he didn't need to be told to bring the case of red wine in. Jian Wen and Tai Zhao breathed out in relief as well. They'd really been afraid that Tai Wei wouldn't be able to hold out and collapse, but it was fine now. Tai Wei would definitely be able to hold out for a while if they were competing in red wine. Jian Wen put the 2 bottles on the table, one for Lin Yi, and the other in front of Tai Wei. Chapter 395. Drinking so much that he's vomiting blood. You'll drink however I say? Lin Yi raised the bottle of red wine as he looked at Tai Wei. The initiative was now in Lin Yi's hands. Lin Yi had somehow become the owner of this room. Yes, we'll drink however you say. Tai Wei nodded. Who was he afraid of when it came to drinking red wine? All right. Lin Yi put down the bottle of red wine and stood up, walking to the sterilized cupboard at the side of the room. He took out 2 large beer mugs, putting one in front of Tai Wei and the other back on his seat. Tai Wei didn't understand what Lin Yi was doing with the mugs. Was he going to pour it out? Red wine could be drunk from the mouth too. As Tai Wei, Jian Wen, and Tai Zhao were wondering what was going on, Lin Yi opened the bottle of red wine and poured it all into the large beer mug in front of him. Tai Wei was about to do the same when he saw Lin Yi pick up another can of beer from the table, opening it and pouring it into the mug. The corner of Tai Wei's mouth twitched. Mixing red wine and beer. It'd be one thing if it were regular beer, but this high alcohol content beer. But it was still way better than drinking white wine. Tai Wei gritted his teeth. It was still acceptable. And so, he followed Lin Yi's example and poured the red wine and beer into the mug. But just as he was about to say something, Lin Yi moved again. This time, Lin Yi opened a bottle of white wine and poured it into the mug as well. What? Tai Wei was dumbfounded. White wine, red wine, beer, and white wine mixed together. Wouldn't that kill him? Drinking a small glass or 2 normally wouldn't be a problem. In fact, Tai Wei would often show off his special skill to the wine merchants as well, drinking red, white, and yellow wine at the same time, leaving them in awe. Tai Wei would enjoy it every time he did that, proud and arrogant. He was proud of his special skill. But now, Tai Wei's ultimate technique was nothing more than a joke in front of this huge mug of beer. Drinking a small cup was fine, but drinking such a large beer mug, wasn't that courting death? Lin Yi didn't care what Tai Wei was thinking. He picked up his beer mug and raised it at Tai Wei. Come on, let's continue. Tai Wei was so regretful he was about to explode. He'd thought that Lin Yi only wanted red wine, and that was why he'd said that he could drink whatever he wanted. But now that Lin Yi wanted this mixed wine, there was nothing he could do even if he didn't want to. Jian Wen and Tai Zhao, on the other hand, didn't know what to do. They couldn't help Tai Wei at all, so they could only support him mentally. Lin Yi downed the entire mug of mixed wine in one go as he looked at Tai Wei with a smile. Tai Wei had no choice but to force himself to pick up his mug and finish it all in one go. Tai Wei's face was a mix of red and white after drinking it, and it was as fascinating as it could get. He clutched his stomach with one hand as beads of sweat formed on his forehead. Tai Wei felt like he was going to die. His stomach felt like it was going to explode, and he felt like he was going to break down at any moment. But he couldn't lose face. Absolutely not. Good, Wei bro is indeed stronger than most people. Lin Yi nodded in praise. Ha ha. Tai Wei wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He could only smile helplessly at Lin Yi's praise. He'd rather be a bad bro than Wei bro right now. Let's continue, it's more interesting this way. Lin Yi said as he went to get a few more bottles of red wine, putting a few in front of Tai Wei and a few in front of himself. Lin Yi continued mixing the mixed wine, and Tai Wei had no choice but to follow Lin Yi's lead. Lin Yi raised his mug, downing it even faster than water. Tai Wei took a deep breath and started pouring the wine down his throat as well, but he couldn't take it anymore halfway through. He felt like his stomach wasn't his anymore, it was squirming rapidly, and with a phut, he spat out all the wine he'd drunk earlier, mixed with a large amount of blood. Cough, cough, cough. Tai Wei started coughing loudly, spitting out large amounts of blood with each cough. Tai Wei, what's wrong? Tai Zhao jumped as he hurried over to support Tai Wei, patting his back lightly, but the coughing didn't stop. Tai Wei was still coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. Tai Zhao, get Tai Wei to the hospital. Jian Wen frowned. He could tell that Tai Wei was at his limit today. He'd forced the last 2 glasses of mixed wine down his throat. It wouldn't have mattered if it had been regular baijiu, but it had to be mix. How could he not be in trouble? I'm fine, I think it's stomach bleeding. Finally, Tai Wei stopped coughing. He'd choked on the mixture of wine and blood earlier, which was why he couldn't stop coughing. Tai Wei waved his hand. I'll go to the hospital myself. Jian Wen bro, cousin, I'll leave this to you guys. We'll send you. Tai Zhao was very worried about Tai Wei's condition. No, all my hard work would go to waste if I surrender now. Tai Wei shook his head, not wanting to surrender just like that. All right, be careful. Jian Wen sighed. Call me when you get to the hospital. Got it, and bro. Tai Wei endured the pain as he limped out of the room, running down the stairs quickly. Brother Lin, look, Tai Wei's got a stomach bleeding. Shouldn't we drink a little more gracefully? Tai Zhao's eyes were filled with hatred as he spoke. Tai Wei was his cousin, after all. How could he not be pissed off that he was in the hospital? Jian Wen's face was dark as well, not smiling at all. He probably hated Lin Yi as well. Stomach bleeding? I think it's a stomach perforation. Lin Yi shook his head. Don't die. What? Stomach perforation? Tai Zhao was shocked. Why didn't you say so earlier? You didn't ask me. Lin Yi shrugged. I could have given him a massage, maybe it'd even stop the bleeding. It was only then that Jian Wen and Tai Zhao remembered that Lin Yi seemed to know medicine, and that he wasn't weak at all. It was Lin Yi who'd saved Jian Wen when he got food poisoning last time. Chapter 396. How could you bite the hand that fed you? You. Tai Zhao was filled with hatred as well. Why didn't you say so earlier if you could stop the bleeding? Why did you have to wait until Tai Wei was gone for a while before telling him that you did it on purpose? It was evidently impossible to chase after Tai Wei now, since he'd run out at top speed. He should be in a taxi by now, and they could only pray that he made it to the hospital safely. Haha, Brother Lin's right, we've all had too much to drink and forgot about that. Jian Wen shot Tai Zhao a look, telling him not to do anything rash. Tai Wei didn't say anything else as he took in a deep breath to calm himself down. I'm going to the washroom, we'll continue later. Lin Yi stood up. This time, he didn't choose to leave the room. Instead, he walked into the washroom. He'd drunk so many bottles of wine even water would have been enough for Lin Yi to go to the washroom. And bro, don't let this kid go so easily, Tai Zhao said in a low voice after Lin Yi entered the washroom. I'll make him pay for making Tai Wei bleed. Jian Wen nodded. Plan B. Tell the waiter not to open the door no matter what happens in the room. Heh. I've been telling you, that's a good move. Tai Zhao said happily as he left the room to give the waiter some instructions. Jian Wen, on the other hand, made a call to his driver. Bring the inflatable doll up. Is it reliable? Is it effective? Tai Zhao was starting to worry again. It should work. Jian Wen said. Sihua bro gave it to me, It'll be fine. He said it's the most advanced medicine, called Invincible 8 Gyro or something. With that, Jianwen poured 3 glasses of red wine and poured a bag of powder into Lin Yi's glass. That's good, hehe, we'll have some fun now. Tai Wei tried his best to suppress his laughter, not letting it get too loud and attract Lin Yi's attention. Why's this guy taking so long to pee? He's not taking a dump, is he? I also want to go pee. I drank too much just now. Now that you mention it, I'm thinking of going too. Jianwen frowned as well. Why was Lin Yi taking so long? Lin Yi had actually pulled up his pants a long time ago. He'd only been eavesdropping on Jianwen and Tai Wei's conversation in the washroom. A cold smile flashed across his face. These two hadn't given up yet. They still wanted to play trick. Inflatable doll? This and Jianwen was too mean. Lin Yi pushed open the washroom door, acting like he didn't know anything as he waved his hand apologetically to Jianwen and Tai Zhao. I'm sorry. I drank too much, so my stomach's a little watery. It's been a little long, haven't it? It's fine, we'll go to the washroom as well. Jianwen and Tai Zhao couldn't hold it in any longer as they stood up and ran into the washroom. Lin Yi smiled coldly. If these two hadn't been in a hurry to pee, he'd have done it in the washroom himself. He'd just have to drag it out a little longer. Lin Yi looked at the 3 glasses of red wine on the table and smiled. He quickly poured one of the glasses in front of Jianwen and Tai Zhao into the corner and took the other one in front of him. After doing all this, Lin Yi poured half of the red wine that Jianwen had tampered with into the empty glass and filled up the 2 glasses with the red wine before returning to his seat. After a while, Jianwen and Tai Zhao walked out of the washroom to see Lin Yi fiddling with his phone. They thought that he was going to record again, but Lin Yi said, "Let's drink a little more and eat. Miss Chu called me just now, telling me to go back as soon as possible." Oh! Jianwen and Tai Zhao looked at each other, overjoyed. There were 2 reasons for this. One was that they were thinking about how to get Lin Yi to drink a glass of red wine, and now Lin Yi was asking to solve it himself. The other was that Lin Yi was talking on the phone in the room, and they didn't hear anything in the washroom at all. This also meant that Lin Yi, who was in the washroom, couldn't hear what they were talking about in the room. This meant that their plan would be exposed. Alright, we'll do that then. I poured 3 glasses of red wine just now, and since Brother Lin said so, let's drink one last glass. Tai Zhao smiled as he raised his glass. I'll finish this first. Alright, it'll be the last glass then. Lin Yi nodded and raised his glass as well. Jianwen was overjoyed as well, and so the 3 of them finished their drinks and started eating. Why am I so hot? I'm still a little dizzy, Lin Yi said after eating 2 mouthfuls of food, holding his forehead. In fact, he didn't know what the Invincible 8 Gyro looked like when it acted up, but he knew that it wouldn't be this soon. Haha. Jianwen laughed upon hearing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi had fallen for it, and he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi anymore. It didn't matter if they fell out. As expected, Lin Yi's symptoms were more or less the same as what Sihua had told him. It seemed like the drug was acting up. What? What are you laughing at? Lin Yi asked curiously. Haha, Lin Yi, you don't know, do you? You've fallen for the Invincible 8 Gyro's aphrodisiac, and it's acting up now. You'll lose your mind soon. Jianwen laughed. I drugged the red wine you were drinking just now. What? Why did you do that? Lin Yi looked at Jianwen, a little pissed off. Why? Haha, since you want to know why, I'll tell you then, Jianwen said. You beat us up last time, and we were planning to drink you into the hospital this time, but we didn't expect you to drink so much that Tai Wei ended up in the hospital instead. You perforated my brother's stomach, how could I let you get away with that? Tai Zhao followed up. Lin Yi, the drug's going to get stronger and stronger, and you'll feel really bad if you don't vent it out. But don't worry, and Bro and I prepared a blow-up doll for you. Look at how thoughtful we are. You. Lin Yi's eyes were wide open as he looked at Jianwen and Tai Zhao in disbelief. You two are treating me like this. Jianwen, I saved your life, and not only do you not know how to repay me, you're even trying to hurt me. How can you bite the hand that fed you? Chapter 397. Save it for yourself. Someone knocked on the door at that moment, and Tai Zhao opened it to see Jianwen's driver standing there with a silk bag in his hands, Evidently the blow-up doll inside, Tai Zhao took the bag and turned to Jian Wen's driver. "All right, tell the waiters to stay away, don't come any closer. Tell them not to come close no matter what happens in the room." "Yes, Master Su." Jian Wen's driver nodded and went to do his work. "Hehe, Lin Yi, I've prepared the blow-up doll for you. What do you think? Not bad, right?" Tai Zhao said as he went to open the bag. "All right. I guess I'm unlucky. Have you guys heard of Mr. Dongguo's story?" Lin Yi sighed as he looked at Jian Wen and Tai Zhao. "Mr. Dongguo's story? What do you mean?" Jian Wen paused, not understanding why Lin Yi was still in the mood to talk about Mr. Dongguo's story at a time like this. "You haven't heard of it either?" Lin Yi looked at Tai Zhao. "Lin Yi, the drug's about to take effect. You should think about how you're going to deal with it. Do you want the blow-up doll, or do you want us to find you a prostitute?" Tai Zhao curled his lips, not answering Lin Yi's question. In his eyes, Lin Yi was now a prey for anyone to butcher. All he had to do was record a video of the drug's effect and he'd be fired by Meng Yao. "Or maybe we can help you find a female pig." Jian Wen couldn't help but add, thinking that Lin Yi's story was completely ridiculous at this time. "Ha!" Tai Zhao started laughing at Jian Wen's joke as well. Lin Yi looked at the two with pity. "Since you guys don't know, I'll tell you a story then. It's about Mr. Dongguo and the wolf. Are you sick?" Jian Wen looked at Lin Yi oddly. He didn't know if the guy was really stupid or not. The drug was about to take effect, and yet he still had the time to study Mr. Dongguo and the wolf. Lin Yi ignored Jian Wen and started his story. Once upon a time, there was a scholar named Mr. Dongguo. One day, Mr. Dongguo had to go to a faraway place. On the way, a wounded wolf suddenly rushed in front of him and begged, "Sir, I am being chased by a hunter. He has wounded me with an arrow. Please save me. I will repay you well." Although Mr. Dongguo knew that wolves were bad by nature, he still felt sorry for this wolf. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to hide it in his book bag. After a while, the hunter caught up to them and realized that the wolf had disappeared. There was only Mr. Dongguo sitting by the roadside. Hence, he asked Mr. Dongguo, "Did you see a wolf?" Mr. Dongguo said, "I didn't see anything." The hunter didn't think that Mr. Dongguo would lie to him, so he went to look elsewhere. The wolf heard that the hunter was far away, so it came out of the bag. However, it didn't go to repay Mr. Dongguo. Instead, it pounced at Mr. Dongguo, baring its fangs and claws. "I'm hungry. Do another good deed, let me eat you, and then?" That idiot Mr. Dongguo got eaten by a wolf. "Don't tell me you're that Mr. Dongguo." "Huh." Jian Wen, naturally, knew what Lin Yi was implying, but he didn't mind it at all. He started laughing loudly. "No, the hunter came back and killed the wolf." Lin Yi said faintly. "This proves that good will be rewarded, evil will be punished. It's not that the time isn't right yet." "What do you mean?" Jian Wen paused, vaguely sensing that there was something else in Lin Yi's words, but he couldn't figure out what Lin Yi was talking about. "It's nothing, it's not that the time isn't right yet." Lin Yi smiled. "What time isn't right yet?" "Lin Yi, what the hell are you mumbling about? What do you mean?" Jian Wen was getting a little angry. "The medicine. You two ate that invincible 8 gyro thing, it's probably going to take effect soon, right?" Lin Yi said. "What invincible 8 gyro? How did we eat it?" "Didn't you eat it?" Jian Wen paused. "I'm sorry, but I split that glass of red wine into 2, half for you and half for him." Lin Yi smiled. "Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How did you know that I was going to drug you?" Jian Wen's face changed. He didn't really believe what Lin Yi was saying, but Lin Yi's words made sense. Most importantly, why did he feel like his body was heating up? "Oh, you can look inside the bottle if you don't believe me." Lin Yi pointed at the bottle on the table. "Look, there's still some left after pouring out 3 glasses. 4 glasses is just right." Jian Wen paused as he looked at the bottle. He was the one who poured out the red wine before, so naturally he knew how much was left. Now that he looked at the bottle, there was only a bottom. Someone must have poured out some more. Could it be that Lin Yi was telling the truth? Jian Wen and Tai Zhao's faces changed at the thought. They were already feeling hot, and now they felt even hotter. And bro, do you have the antidote? Tai Zhao was starting to panic. No. Jian Wen shook his head and looked at Lin Yi with a venomous look. Did you really switch the wine for me? You'll know soon enough. Lin Yi said as he stood up. I'll keep the blow-up doll for yourself, I'm leaving. But don't take it, it'll be bad if we get into a fight. Before Jian Wen and Tai Zhao could react, Lin Yi was already out of the room, locking the door from the outside with a metal wire. Jian Wen and his driver had told them not to have any waiters outside, and even Jian Wen's driver was standing at the end of the hallway. Mr. Lin, why did you come out? Where's Master An and the others? Jian Wen's driver didn't see Lin Yi lock the door, but asked curiously when he saw Lin Yi walking over. Oh, they're in the room, playing a new game. They told you not to disturb them, Lin Yi said. All right. Jian Wen's driver nodded. He didn't know about the conflict between Jian Wen and Lin Yi, so he thought that Jian Wen had sent Lin Yi out to talk to him. Mr. Lin, are you going? I'm going back to do something for an bro. Lin Yi smiled. I'll be leaving first. Do you need me to drive you? Jian Wen's driver said eagerly.